All right, ladies and gentlemen, how's everyone doing today? Today is going to be a very, very special episode, right? So today we're going to talk about the AFF Mitsubishi Electric Cup, and we're going to focus more about Singapore. But why is this such a special episode, right? I think the topic, we will get through it. We will have a good time talking about it. But why is this so special? Because we got friends from the community, right? That's going to give their inputs. This is going to be a very special episode because we want to make sure that everyone can give their inputs, and it's just I want to build up the community and make sure everyone has a say to the topics and the community and the channel. So first off, let me do my best introduction for two of my special guests here. First up, we have Sel. Sel has been a great friend of the show. He's been a big Singapore fan, football fan. He's generally a huge world fan. Just now off stream, we talked about his jersey collection. It's insane. Sel, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. How are you today?
Yeah, good evening, guys. Actually, thank you to Brendan for inviting me to this show, and hopefully, I can share a lot of insights. And actually, for me, also a Hougang fan for only 12 years. So, yep, it has been a very good year for me so far. So, yep, hopefully,
Yeah.
I can come back more times into your show, man.
Okay, awesome. And then next up, we have a very, very special guest, right? We've got our community love to call him Bro So Good, but it's Marcus, right? So Marcus is a huge Singapore fan as well. He loves football. He does so many predictions. He's been such a great friend of the Goal Difference community. He's been so helpful doing the predictions. He's been really good friend of the show. Marcus, how are you doing today, mate?
Doing good, and I'd like to thank you for welcoming this show. I'm a Liverpool and Sailors fan.
Okay, so you see, so we got a good blend, right? We got Hougang fan. Sel, are you a United fan, Sel? For the Premier League?
Actually, I don't follow the Premier League a lot, but
Ah,
I am actually more towards the Bundesliga. I
okay,
mean,
so
I
you're a
watch a lot of
Dortmund. You're a
Bundesliga.
big Dortmund. Yeah, you're a
Yeah,
big
man.
Dortmund fan, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a healthy blend. We've got Bundesliga fans, we've got a Liverpool and Sailors fan. I consider myself a bit of a Geylang fan, so it's a bit healthy blend here. All right, so okay, let's address some comments here. So people are saying, "What's up, guys?" Fatris Ninja. I think he's also a Hougang fan, if I'm not wrong. Fatris Ninja, thank you so much for tuning in. Joshua, our co-host, he said Singapore will qualify. All right, so later we will talk about it more about the topics. So we got nice Hougang. Hi guys, I'm playing SG. Came back with a silver medal. All right, thank you so much, man. You are Fatris. You represented Singapore well. I know you played for some under 16 competition. So in Japan, big up to you. True Gunnar, a great friend of the show. He says smash the likes. Thank you so much for tuning in, Josh. I really appreciate it. Riyad, I says hello, Sal. Yep, big man Sal. He's a popular man of the
Hey,
show. People are coming to tune in. Marcus as well. Later, I'm sure there's in the chat also people are looking forward for Marcus' appearance, right? So, good evening, guys. Good evening, Eugene. Thank you for so much for tuning in. So, without further ado, let's go on to the topic, right? And okay, Ryan Tune has said, right. Thank you so much for tuning in as always, Ryan. All right, so let's move on to the topic. Sorry, let me close this banner. First off, I just want to say from the Go Difference community and myself, we are really appreciative of the support, and we have reached 400 subs from the YouTube page. So with that, I thank you so much. This page is nothing without you guys. People like Marcus, people like Sel, people like you watching right now. This page is nothing without you guys. So from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So with that out of the way, let's move on to the topics. Yeah. So Singapore is so far perfect. You are 6 out of 6 points. As you can see in the table right now, thanks to Grandstand, a good friend of the show as well, and we always collab. Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore has 6 points altogether. Myanmar and Laos, unfortunately, I think they're out already of the competition. It's safe to say that. So, you know what? Let me give it to Marcus first, right? So, how do you think Singapore has done so far, Marcus, for Singapore?
I think Singapore has done okay. I think there is some room for improvements, especially the last game where it was a bit, I must say, disappointing because the quality wasn't there as what we have seen in the last few months.
Mm. Very fair, very fair. All right, and then Sel, how do you think about Singapore's performance thus far in this, in the so far in the Mythic Cup?
I think it's fairly expected for them to beat Laos and Myanmar because Myanmar, as you know, they are struggling their own struggles back at home, and Laos basically, like they are, even though they are a growing team, but they are still, they still a team is like they are still in under development because they are well known for their youth teams. But the biggest challenge will be the next two games, man. So hopefully, the players will be up to it. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's very fair. Both of you have made excellent points. It's expected that when coming into this competition, Myanmar and Laos we were expected to win them, obviously. Myanmar, unfortunately, are going through some, like what Sal rightly pointed out, they're going through some country politics and, struggles, internal struggles. Laos as well. If I'm not wrong, Laos also is coached by a lot of ex-Singaporean coaches, right? I think ex-Hougang coach is there as well, coaching the youth team or the national team. So
Selvaraj, I
I'm
think.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they are building. I think they see Singapore as like a good a place for coaches to coach the Laos future. So maybe they can grow in strength next time, right? So we so far we have been talking about like Myanmar and Laos, but I think it's going to be the huge matchup for Singapore is going to be the upcoming Vietnam game on Friday, and then Malaysia going up to Bukit Jalil. I think we'll discuss that more later, right? So I just want to ask you guys, right? I think you guys have said it quite a bit. I mean, like hinted at it. But do you guys think that Singapore has been lackluster? So maybe I'll give the time to Sal first, right? So do you think Singapore should be playing better, or do you think like what you say? Is it kind of expected of how we are playing right now?
I think they should play a bit better. I mean, attacking wise, we are quite all right with Shawal and Ilhan so far putting in all the goals. Defense wise, I'm a bit worried. I think Nishigaya has tinkered a lot with the defense. Sometimes he play back five, sometimes he play back three, and also the Safwan is not around. So I think that's one thing that we are missing with his play. And I think I'm actually a bit worried about their fitness because you can see the games against Myanmar and Laos. A lot of players are dropping like flies. Like it's like they are basically not fit, and then a lot of cramps and injuries. And someone told me that before the Laos game they had traveled 8 hours from the airport to Vietnam to Laos and finally to the hotel, and 8 hours. And you have to know that they just came back, I think this morning, and they have another game on Friday. So I think it's a very, very tight schedule for this. So I'm a bit worried about their fitness. But this is just a competition. So I hope that the players will step up, when the time needs.
Fair. Very good point. I'll address some of your points later. Yeah, very good points, Sal. Okay, how about Marcus? So do you think that Singapore should be playing better, or do you think like right now we are still all right? We are playing as what we are supposed to be playing?
I think that Singapore should be playing much better. Attacking wise is okay. Shawa with Ihan up front, but I think the defense should be much improved. As yesterday's game against Laos, I think Laos have few great chance to break our defense and managed to have some shots on target, and we were very lucky that they were saved by Hassan, our best goalkeeper right now. And I think it's a bit of a worrying sign as as they had to travel 8 hours, which is a bit tiring, and we had some injuries and there was cramp around, so there may not be enough time for them to rest.
Yeah, I think both of you alluded to a very, very good point, which is the injuries and also like the fitness and the fatigue. I think those three are going to be very crucial points. But let me address Sal's point first. By the way, there are more people tuning in right now. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone that's tuning in. We've got a great guest, Marcus and Sal. They're part of the community. I just wanted to expand this topic to other local fans as well, so that we can have a broader horizon and better conversations, right? Rather than me always talking, here and there. Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in again, and thank you to my special guest for coming on. So, Sal's point, right? He's got a good point. Safuwan actually is a very solid backbone for us, and he's missing, right? And I think you can see that Nishigaya, like what Sal said, I think Nishigaya's tactics have been a bit hit and miss here and there. And somehow he's a defensive-minded player, so I would imagine that you would think that his defensive prowess and tactical ability will be better. But to both of your points, Marcus and Sal, I think our defense have been quite shaky. I think we can all agree with that. I think our defense should be playing way better. For me, honestly speaking, I feel that Haris Harun, his defensive work is still not the best, but I guess he's the most like into like leadership capabilities and how he can play off the back. I think that's what we need him for. But the centre back partnership is now a problem. Irfan Fandi just came back. He looked, or he scored a goal for us against Laos. And like what Marcus said, I think Laos we were pretty poor. Overall, we and like Hassan Sani had a great game. And like what you guys said, right, the attack also should be a bit more fluid. I will agree. So because we got quite good attacking options, right? Shawar Anwar, Faiz Ramli, Ilhan Fandi. Unfortunately, Iksan is out, but still, Ilhan Fandi has been doing very well for us. So I think, overall, I think this topic, what we're saying is, do you think that Singapore has been lackluster? And we believe that, yes, I think we've been quite lackluster. But Sal has made and Marcus has made a very good point as well about the fatigue, because they've been traveling to and fro. So maybe, actually, I didn't really consider that during the Laos game. I was like, wow, we're playing so terrible. But maybe the traveling also played a huge part as to why the players were coming out a bit flat, So that could be a big reason why. Okay, so before we move on to the next segment, let me go through some comments. Because Xavier, what's up? What's up, Xavier? Hope you enjoyed your Phuket trip. Thanks for tuning in. We had say head-to-head or goal difference. If I'm not wrong, I think it's head-to-head, right? This coming up if it's a tiebreaker. If I'm not wrong, it's head-to-head.
Usually it's head-to-head. Yeah.
So it's head-to-head. Unfortunately, not the goal difference, like our name, the goal difference. So, Joshua said, welcome back to SG, Xavier. A controversial match between Malaysia and Vietnam. Yeah, it was quite controversial. We can talk about it later, a little bit later at the end of the show. Come on, Lions. This Friday, important match against Vietnam. Yes, it's very important, and I hope you guys will be watching at the stadium. As all three of us here, myself, Marcus, and Sal will be at the stadium. So, we'll be looking forward. We'll be cheering on the boys, right? At least a draw against Vietnam, if not going to Bukit Jalil, will be extremely tough fight against Malaysia. Very fair point, but I think, like what Sal said earlier on, getting a point against Vietnam is going to be very, very difficult. Thailand and Vietnam are easily the two best countries in this Mitsubishi Electric Cup. Thank you all for your comments. Riyad said we are lacking without Iksan. Faris should be in the bench next week. Yes, I think that's a very, very good point, Riyad. Thanks for commenting. Singapore looks like no chemistry, teamwork, passing chemistry more than 5. Yes, I think, we have said that. Chemistry, I think we are a bit poor. So we can talk about that also more later. Fatri said he'll be there sitting at the gallery side. Awesome. You love to see all these comments. Okay, so now we move on to our next topic, next segment, which is let's review the two games thus far for Singapore. Yeah, so Singapore versus Myanmar, 3-2 victory. Marcus, you weren't there at the game, right? This game, you weren't available to attend.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Sal, you were with the Singa Brigade for this game, or you weren't there?
I was actually at work, but I was actually watching it. Like at office, screaming my head off. Yeah, especially when we went behind.
Fair. So especially when we first went behind, I was like, oh no, how can we start off the campaign with a loss or a draw? There was panic, but kudos to Singapore, we fought back really well, right? So before I pass the time to Marcus, let me just say my thoughts about this game. I think this game, I was there live. If you guys want to see my live reactions and my live vlog, do check it out, the goal difference vlog. I think that overall this game was very, very to and fro. I think that we should have stabilized the game way better, but a win is a win. I think overall we're a bit poor, but I got to say Christian Van Huysen, top 3 performance was Chris Van Huysen, Chris Van Huysen, Ilhan, and I got to give maybe Hamish Shaheen. I think when he came on, I think Hamish Shaheen was pretty solid. He stabilized the midfield for us, gave us a bit more attacking options at the front. So in our midfield as well. So Marcus, what do you think about this game?
I think it was a bit of a nerve-wracking as Myanmar keep coming back when we score. And it's also the first game. The first game will also set some standard for us to see where are we at right now. And there was also a red card, but because when I watched the highlights, even when Myanmar had a red card, they still had a lot of good chances to score, which was a bit worrying for us about our defense.
Yes. Yeah. So Marcus, great points. I think that's the problem, right? Like even if they were 10 men for like the last 10 minutes, and they were still playing really good football. It felt like Singapore was 10 men. Do you guys felt that way? I don't know. When the last 10 minutes, I just felt like, they were 1 man down, but they were going at it, going right at us, which was very worrying, right? It's quite worrying to see. How about Sal? How do you think about this game, like Singapore versus Myanmar?
3 points. One of them is all our goals that we concede comes from defensive mistakes. The first goal was a gift from Shakir Hamza, and the second goal was a gift from Ryan Stewart. And also, like, the second thing is you have to note that after Amy Reka and Shawal Anwar came in, I mean, Shawal Anwar was playing for the full game, but after Amy Reka came in, Amy and Shawal were pumping all the balls up. We look more dangerous with them around. It was the same also for the last game also. So, and the third thing is, right, our pitch is shit. When you saw the ball bouncing,
Yeah.
I don't know how. I don't know, like, once the ball bounced, right, and that's what happened for Shawal's goal, because the ball bounced awkwardly. It landed just nice on his path, and he just smashed the ball into the net. So I think, like, Jalan Besar Stadium, I think there's some issues with the pitch, especially. As you know, it was relayed about 2 years ago, but how come, like, you see the pitch, it was like so damn bad.
Yep. I have very fair points, So let me address Marcus' comments first. Both of you have very, very fantastic points. So I think in the comments you're saying that first goal was given by Haris Harun, because I remember Haris Harun he brought the ball up, he lost the ball, and then our centre back, it was only Shakir Hamza and Anu, which was that I can reserve my thoughts about that later. So a very, very sloppy goal to concede, our first goal, yeah. So Marcus' point, yeah, I think our defense was very, very shaky and leaky. I think we expected way better. We really expect. I honestly feel that our defense, with Shakir Hamza, he's the most prominent centre back in that game, right? Experience, but I don't know, Nishigaya playing him right in the center of the park. I think that's very interesting. You will imagine that Haris Harun would be the main, like, sweeper, Shakir Hamza on left centre back, and maybe Anu on the right centre back. But I don't know. I think that was an experiment which I don't think it went really well. I think Shakir Hamza, if he wants to play centre back, he has to play the left centre back role. Cannot be the main centre back role. So like, Sel, your point, I think you have the pitch. Yeah, I think even the Myanmar coach alluded to it, right? That the pitch is terrible. But it's lucky for us, right? Because it bounced off awkwardly for Shawar Anwar to finish off his the third goal for us. I think that and you guys saw Shah Shahrian's goal. It was quite I think the keeper should have done way better, the Myanmar keeper. What do you guys think of Shah Shahrian's goal? Self, give it to you.
Okay, for me is Shah Shahiran's goal. I think the Myanmar goalkeeper was giving a comedy of errors. It's not the first time that he, like, gave the ball to us. Even the goal for Shawal also, he had a mistake. Same thing also during the first half, where he smashed into Ilhan Fandi instead of getting the ball. So I think for that game, he was the worst player in the Myanmar shirt. And actually, I just want to add on. I wanted to say this. Do you know that for the Myanmar game, all the starting defenders were not defenders?
I didn't even know that. I did not know that. So they were what, centre midfielders or something?
Okay. Anu is a defensive midfielder. Then you have
you mean Singapore?
Shakir Hamza is a left winger, actually.
Yeah.
Then Haris Harun is naturally a defensive midfielder. Then you have the number 11 Hafiz Noor. He's a left winger. He's a winger. Then you have on the left, right, is Chris Van Huysen, who is also a winger. So all five of them playing the defense is no defenders. Yeah, we don't have a single defender.
Sorry. I thought you were talking about Myanmar, but yes, Singapore. Yeah, we don't have a solid. That's hence why I was quite prominent that we should have played either Amrul Adli or Joshua Pereira as one of our centre backs. Joshua Pereira as well as a midfielder, but he's been deployed as a prominent centre back for Geylang. And when he came on the second half, we look way better at the back. A bit more solid with Joshua Pereira on the pitch. Marcus, what are your thoughts about our defense in general? Like, I know you said it earlier, but maybe a bit more specific here. Anu, should he be starting as our centre back? What do you think, Marcus?
I think Anu should be starting as a centre mid. He looks more comfortable there because he's not actually a centre back, so I don't see. So I think it's very risky, especially when you're not very comfortable playing there. Because this Friday game will be against Vietnam, and Vietnam is a very good side with very good intensity. And if there's any error error they've made, they can punish us.
Yes, very, very fair point. That's what like Sal's point, right? I also agree, man. Like, how can we be playing? I mean, Nishigaya, surprisingly, I did say that he was a center back before, and then, I would imagine that his defensive prowess, he will be like more tactically aware in his defense. But then he had 5 players at the back who was not even defensively they're not natural center backs, right? Irfan Fandi not missing. On the bench, we had who was our Amru Adli, Joshua Pereira on the bench. Anu and Haris Harun also. I believe that Haris Harun should be our center mid, but that's another discussion for another day. Maybe we can talk about that later on. But maybe that's why we were so leaky at the back, right? And Myanmar did punish us, right? In the first half. But thank God, really thank God that we managed to salvage the before we went to the half, we at least got a equalizer through Ilhan Fandi's fantastic header goal, which I think the Myanmar keeper should have done way better as well. So. Okay, so yeah, I think this game, it was, I think we are all agreed that it's a bit, lackluster from Singapore. We were very poor, especially defensively. But thank God Shawar Anwar pulled us away from this game. And, Zaiful's goal kick, I mean, his assist was fantastic. You just got to give him the credit. My credit is due. All right. So maybe before we move on to the next Laos game, maybe I ask you all, who was your man of the match for this game for Singapore? Maybe I'll pass the time to Marcus first. So Marcus, who is your man of the match for Singapore?
Shawar Anwar.
Okay, Shawar Anwar. All right, Shawar Anwar. I think he was the difference maker for us for sure. How about Sal? How about who is your man of the match?
For me, definitely Shawar Anwar. I mean, as I already said, if you ask any Hougang fans, they will say Shawar Anwar is the best local player that we ever had. If he's 5 years younger, I think he'll be playing in J League now. That's what.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, fair. I mean, he's blessed with so much pace on him. He's got the composure to finish, right? And when I'll be honest with you guys, I've only started watching a bit more local football more intensely this past season. And when I watch Hougang, he's the player that stands out in my eye. Really, he's got the pace. When Kiki wants to play the balls through the balls to him, he's always Shawar Anwar that is causing a lot of problems for the opposing defenders. All right, so before we move on, I got to say, for my man of the match this game, I got to give it to, I think I want to give it to Van Huysen. I think Chris Van Huysen was fantastic in the game. He made the beautiful cross for Ilhan to rise up for the first goal, and then his defensive work was fantastic that day. I think he committed a lot of times, and there was one challenge. I don't know whether you guys remember. Shakir Hamza wanted to clear the ball, and then he slipped. I mean, he fell down, right? And then Joshua Pereira and Haris Harun had to commit, and then the Myanmar player squared it in, and Chris Van Huysen came from behind and slid, and and it cleared. Thank God for that. I think that would easily been 2-2 at the before. It could have easily been a Myanmar goal. All right, so let's go through some comments. Riyad, he agrees with you, Marcus. He said that yes, we are really lacking in the defense. So it's very worrying, right? It's very worrying. Mighty King has said, and okay, I won't even attempt to say his name. Jacob. First goal was given by Haris. Yeah, I think Haris Harun was the one who lost the ball in midfield. Our Lions too easily fatigue, especially towards the end. Most of the time, the opponent have the possession. I think that's also a very fair point. Fatigue. We have to probably be. This game, I would say that we were a bit lacking in terms of the match fitness. But for the Laos game, I'll cut them some slack, because like what Marcus and Sal rightly pointed out, because of the traveling and whatnot, that played a huge part. Riyad said should be playing a back four this Friday. Okay, we will address this later. Maybe we can talk about this later at the end of the show. Aiman, welcome Aiman. Thanks for tuning in. He says should try draw against the Viets and clutch against Malaysia while we're at it. All right, fair. That's a very fair point. But you guys are saying like as though Vietnam is like some pushover country. Bro, I don't even think we're gonna get a draw. It will be a huge success, right, if we can get a draw. All right, and then Riyad has said, yes, you're right, Sal. Best signing for Hougang. That's true. Like what Sal has said, right? If he was younger, I think he had the best good opportunities to play in the J League as well. All right, so I just realized we've got a new friend of the show. Let's see. Hello, welcome there. Can you hear me? G? Ben? G? Okay, I'll just remove for now. We just move on first. Yeah. So let's move on to Laos and Singapore 2-0. I couldn't find the right picture, so I'll just put a fundy picture, right? So this game, I think we rightly pointed out that you guys have rightly pointed out, Marcus and Sal, right, has pointed out that fatigue was really to play here because of the there's no direct flight to Laos, so they had to fly to what, Vietnam, if I'm not wrong, Sal? Is that what you're saying?
Actually, there's a direct flight, but I don't know why they took that. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
they
So
took
I
this.
heard they went to
Yep,
Vietnam and then they went to Laos, which takes about
yep.
8.5 hours. Yeah.
Yep. So all this like flying here and there, it's probably gonna play a factor to their match fitness. But at the end of the day, we still won Singapore 2-0. I'll put this. Yeah. Okay. So we won't block. I didn't want to block Cell's face, but I'll just put the header so we can see Cell. All right. So let me give my thoughts about this game. I watched this game live at Cafe Football. If you guys have also followed the page, go and do check out our vlog. I'll try and do more watch parties with the community next time in the future, so we can watch the game together. I think it's quite. It was a very nice experience watching the games together at a common area. Next time we will open up more invitations. With that being said, please do join the Telegram chat and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also follow us on Instagram. All right, so Singapore versus Laos. Yesterday was a bit of a. This game I was quite panicked. I was like, wow. The predictions were, we thought we were gonna like score more goals against them, but I don't think it was the goals that we scored 2 at the end of the day, which is still a victory is a victory, but that was not the concerning point for me. I think the problem was our midfield, man. Our midfield is really lost in translation right now. Irfan Fandi back, I think it shores up the centre back roles and the defense quite a bit, so I was quite pleased with that. Joshua Pereira starting, my man Joshua Pereira, he's fantastic. He lacks a bit of that stature and that size. He's a bit undersized for a centre back in the international stage, but he's very clutch, and you realize his challenges are always on time. So I was quite pleased with our defensive work, and I think only Myanmar had a really good chance when the player just right after halftime he struck the ball outside the box, which was a very good shot, I gotta say, and it hit the post. Right, Hassan Sani wasn't ready for that shot, so that was a very fair chance for Myanmar. Unfortunately, they didn't capitalize on the chance, and it was a very nerve-wracking game, very very nerve-wracking game. So, with that being said, let me pass the time to Sel first, right? Sel, so what are your thoughts about Singapore and Laos, Gail? Oh, sorry. What are your thoughts? Sorry, I removed you for. I'm so sorry. What are your thoughts about Singapore and Laos game yesterday?
Actually, for me, I was thinking that this game, right, we should use this game to increase our goal difference, because I thought that we have the players to win at least more than the 4-2 that we won about 9 years ago, and maybe we can earn an 11-0 win, because basically Laos are playing kids except for the Sukaphone, who is already a 30-year-old. Other than that, the rest are all below 25. And for me, it's the most excruciating game I ever watched since Sundram was on the helm for the Lions. No, do you know that Sundram, when he was on the helm, we never win a single game for 13 months.
Yeah, there was a dry
so,
spell.
Yeah, so it was the same excruciating thing. The only saving grace that we had was we have as you know that we have a very good set piece taker in Shadan and Zufami, and Zufami floated a very nice ball to Irfan to give a lead. But then after that, we did not take advantage of it, and instead, when we attacked, we wasted a lot of chances, especially up at the front. And it was until Shawal and Amy Reka again, the Hougang partnership, when they came in, we attacked more on the inside the Laos half. And eventually, as being Shawal, taking advantage of, the goalkeeper's slow to pass the ball out, he took advantage and slot in the winning goal. But I think that this was the game that, I thought that Singapore would take all the chances to show, to Vietnam and Malaysia, to say that, this is why we won 4 times AFF Championship. But so far, I think, this game has shown, our big disadvantages, especially in the midfield and in the back.
Okay, good points. Later we'll dissect your points. I think that's very good points, Sal. How about you, Marcus? How do you think about Singapore and Laos this game for Singapore?
I think this game may not be one of the best matches I've ever seen so far, because I thought that we can use this opportunity to up our goal difference, because the Vietnam and Malaysia had thrashed them 5-0, 6-0. And
Yep.
I think one thing that we should stop playing will be the high ball, because I feel I saw them try to do high ball, but they can't even catch the ball properly, and this will cause them to lose control of the game. And I think we missed a few good chances, especially the part where Faris Ramli had a chance,
The open goal.
open chance. I felt that he could have passed it to Song, maybe. If not, it could have been 3-0.
Yeah,
Then
I think that you can, and they can finish the game, right? It would have been not, yeah, it would have been 2-0, and then hopefully Shawa Anwar scores the last minute goal, and then it would have been 3-0, and it helps us with the goal difference, right, Marcus?
yeah, and
Yeah.
I feel that it's all thanks to Hassan Sani that gave us the clean sheet against Laos.
Yeah. Hassan Sani had a great performance. All right, so, I think all of us, we are agreeing to a point where it's a bit infuriating and a bit scary, right? And, nerve-wracking, right? That's the very scary part against a Laos team that, they were coming in with a very bad goal difference because Vietnam and Malaysia had their time with them. And then we were like, a bit struggling on the offensive front, which is very scary. But to Sel's point, I think we are blessed with Shadan Sulaiman and Zulfaimi. They are very good in their set pieces, and we took advantage of that. Yeah, Shadan Sulaiman had a free kick, which was he didn't really curl it in. It was too centered, right? Like 24th minute, if I'm not wrong, and then the 32nd minute, Zulfaimi whipped in a very nice ball for Irfan to rise up to the top and head it in, smashed it in. I think, and like what Sel said, I think the common trend that what Sel has rightly pointed out is when Amy Rekka comes on, I don't know, yeah, like I say, maybe the Hougang partnership up front, or maybe the chemistry, right? It allows Singapore to play a bit more offensive track, because Amy Rekka has also got a pace. I'm not the biggest Amy Rekka fan, but I can't deny that he's got a pace on him as well as Shawa and Wah. Both of them are very pacey forwards, right? So it gives a lot of dimension for Singapore to pump the ball up and make sure that the defense will be split open. More chances to be split open. And to Marcus' point, I think Hassan Sani had a fantastic game for us. He had a very good reflex save. He had 3 good saves, if I'm not wrong. And even if I'm not wrong, the ball that hit the crossbar, I don't know whether he had a touch to it. I may be wrong, but he may not have the touch to it, but at least he was, he didn't have a touch to it, right? So, okay, fair. So, if that went in, right, that would have been, I mean, whether it was a goal of the tournament, but it would be, I would say, quite lucky, lah. But thank God that didn't go in. All right, so this game, I think we should have won more convincingly, but I don't know, maybe Nishigaya didn't really get his tactics right. With that being said, let me go through some comments, and then maybe we can also. So, by the way, Marcus and Sel, if you want to address any of the comments, please let me know. Feel free to interrupt me, all right, and then you can address the comments as well. All right, it's not only me, lah. Yeah. So, let's go on. So, Riyad said that losing my brain cells when Faris did not pass to his teammates. His teammates was open space. To me, when Faris Ramli, like what Marcus said, right? Maybe he should have passed to Song. Maybe he should have passed to Ilhan, right? I don't know. At that point of time, as a player, that split second, you definitely go for goal, right? But the problem was that
no. Go ahead,
yourself. Go ahead.
Okay, actually, for me, right, as a striker, right, you have to take your chance. I mean, if you think you can shoot, you shoot. If you think you can't shoot, then you pass to your teammate. For him, I think he was in 2 minds. Actually, he had the heart to shoot. But the way he shoot it is like, okay, there's nobody going to intercept my ball.
Yeah, no conviction. He was like...
If he was a real striker, he would just smash the ball in. I don't care, man. But then instead, he just, casually, slide the ball in, and it made an opportunity for one of the Laotians defenders to slide in and clear off the ball off the line.
I felt like he, when the replay, if I'm not wrong, that split second when he shot the ball, like what you say, like a half-hearted shot in, right? And then he turned around to celebrate already. I think he knew that, he thought it was going in for sure, but then he didn't realize that the Laos defender was coming in to slide and clear the ball, which, yeah, I think it was like that split-second decision for Faris Ramli. I think, like what you say, maybe he last minute thought he wanted to pass, and no, let me just shoot it, but it was a very weak shot, right? So this kind of indecisiveness is going to cost us against a bigger nation, definitely. Riyad, again, thank you for at that point in time, I feel like you can't really blame the striker, but he could have done way better. The options were there for him, for Faris Ramli. All right, so Mighty King says Set Piece FC. In the why we are saying that, because in our live vlog at Cafe Football, Zach said that we are Set Piece FC, which is, I can't blame him. I think most of our goals have come from crosses, have come from this kind of like dead ball situations, which is, I mean, we take our chances. Aloysius, if I'm not wrong, AL, I argue the 4-0 loss to Vietnam in a friendly earlier in September was more infuriating. Fair. Okay, fair in a friendly. All right, so Ian has said, Marcus, congrats on your debut. Good to, you see you got a lot of friends in the community showing the support for us. Thank you so much, Ian, for tuning in. All right, so SG has this bad habit that whenever they score and they are winning, they get complacent and just invite pressure. I don't understand why they don't want to capitalize on that. I think this is a fantastic point. Complacency is the problem, and what happens is that we always sit like what Zach. I will echo what Zach has always said. We invite pressure, and most of the time, Singapore, we do not do well when we invite pressure into the box, into our defense. So that is good comment. Mighty Kid agree with Marcus' viewpoint. We shall try more normal passing and try to gain more possession. Yes, so instead of the high ball and losing possession.
Okay,
fair. So maybe
I have something with this comment. Actually, right.
Okay.
To tell you the truth, right, we are not a nation who is good in ball possession. Leave that to the European counterparts. We are not very good in passing all this. To me, what what was the success for the last edition, right, was us shooting the balls to the wing and let Shawal, and on the left, if I'm not wrong, that time was Taufik or Adam Swandi, I think. So
Swandi,
our wings were the one, right, who set the difference, and that let us won games against Myanmar, Philippines, and Timor-Leste at that time, and we almost beat Indonesia with it also, because we played on the wings. But Indonesia was different because they absorbed our attack and they attacked us back. So that was our success for the last the last edition of AFF Cup,
the Suzuki Cup. Fair. I think that's like I think to your point, I just want to hitch onto your point, right? I agree with you. I think that ball playing also is not our strength, right? Because you see, our midfield is never our strength. It's always been our defense and our strike force. Our midfield has always been the weak point of Singapore's team. So, how do we bet? We don't want to. Yes, we can try and attempt this kind of possession kind of ball, but if you want to play to our strengths, right, we need to play to Shawar Anwar's strengths, right? We need to play on Irfan Fandi's strength, right? Defend, compact, play a bit more compact, play out the wing, spread the ball so that, it allows our midfielders, to bring up the field. And one thing I want to say, Shadan Sulaiman is going to be the mainstay in this team. And, as much as I love Shadan Sulaiman, the problem is he's getting older, right? And, that's where we lack in midfield because our flexibility, he's not a box-to-box anymore, right? So when we bring on Shah Shahirwan and Hamish Shahin, I think they're still a bit too young and inexperienced. You can see that they're being bullied in a sense, which is why Nishikaya went for a Zufami, Shadan Sulaiman centre mid duo. But what those two problems right now is that they are more of a dead ball specialist and they are more like pumping the balls up, which is good. It's a good kind of football, but when we are inviting pressure, they are also leaking a bit of midfield presence for the defense, which is Haris Harun and Irfan Fandi and whoever their left centre back partner is lah. We can talk about that later. So who should be the third centre back as well for the 3-man defense? You know what? Very good point, Sal. Very fair. I think both parties have their very fair points. Because sometimes it's very frustrating to see Singapore keep losing the ball. So I can see where this point, what Mighty King is saying. Thank you very much. AL said not winning comfortably against Myanmar, not scoring more against Laos could mean that we need a win at Bukit Jalil and by some margin instead of needing to just hold out for a draw there. If I'm not wrong, it's not a goal difference, but of course, we definitely want to go head to head. If it's quite mixy now. If I'm not wrong, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. If we draw against Vietnam and we lose against Malaysia, we are still out also, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So hence why I also later I'll talk about this, my point later, which I think we should rest our players for Vietnam and then go all out at Bukit Jalil. That's what my opinion is, but we will go on later. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so I feel like the reason why SG played because they can't keep possession. This is what Sal is saying. Our possession play is not the best, so that's why we keep playing the long balls. It will be great enough to end with 1 point against the Vietnam. Yes, I think that's a very, I think that's the best expectation we can get from Singapore. If we if we play our best football, hopefully you can get a draw. It'll be good enough against to get a point and to play for Bukit Jalil. Fair. Thank you, PP Spartan. Where is G? G was showing at the fan. He left. I'm so sorry. We tried to address him, but he couldn't come on. If you want to play a true set piece FC, we should play like 4-4-2 like Bolton and Burnley. Fair. Maybe we can play a bit more on the midfield and defensive structure. Goodness say we are shite against weaker teams. We play better against stronger teams when we soak on strike on the sun. Simple as that. Would like ML opinion on my opinion, please. Thanks. Okay, so Gunnar 2006 has said this. He's saying, Marcus, what do you think about this comment, Marcus? Go ahead.
I think it's very, very true because last year when we played against Timor-Leste, it was also the same result of a 2-0.
Yep.
Of a 2-0, and the second goal only came in around the 70-80 minute.
Yep. I think we the fact that I think this is good point to what someone said earlier on, is the complacency. I think right now when we score a goal, we sit back, and then we are scared. I feel like we do not commit as much. Sometimes we just have to play a bit more loose. But with that being said, it could be a catch-22, right? You play loose and then we become a bit not so disciplined, and then that's where we make mistakes, right? So it goes both ways, But yeah, thank you so much for your comment, Gunnar. Marcus has addressed that nicely. So can't see Nishigaya's footballing philosophy in this Singapore team. Yeah, I think we can talk about that later on as well. And whoops, took a long nap, Zach. Okay, so feel free to come on, Zach, if you want to come on. So Singaporeans are spoiled by many fancy coaches screaming press. The more we press, we die. Yeah, I think our fitness is also another key problem. All right, so let's move on to the next point. So we talk about Laos. We addressed really good points here. All right, so let's do our predictions for the next game. Preview the next game, which is the Vietnam game. All right. Let me see. Okay, so let me put this up. I just want to say this quickly. I think that our best chance here, the best absolute result here is to get a draw. My personal opinion is Singapore Nishigaya should actually rotate the players here. I think we should go all out at Bukit Jalil, like what PP Spartan said. We stand a better chance there. It's going to be a packed Jalan Besar stadium. And what I believe is the first 20 minutes, I think Singapore should just kamikaze style, go all out attack. Never mind. Concede one goal, go. Just keep going. Go. Put on Shawar Anwar, put on Ilhan Fandi, put on all these Chris Van Huysen, put on Shadan Sulaiman. Play the long balls. Just keep pumping it up. Let's just go for it. We concede 1 or 2 goals, I'm okay. As long as we try our best the first 20 minutes, because Vietnam is such a quality side. I don't think if we try to go box to box with them, I think we're gonna get massacred by them. My honest opinion, I think we're gonna get hammered 4-0. That's my predictions. But hopefully I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. So with that being said, that's my predictions and that's my preview for the game. What are your thoughts about? Let me pass it to Marcus first, right? So Marcus, what are your preview for Singapore versus Vietnam at Jalan Besar?
It's going to be a very tough game for us, especially we are facing Vietnam, whose the FIFA ranking is 96. And from what I've watched from Vietnam for the past few matches is that they are a very speedy side. The intensity is very fast. And if our defense make any error, we may be done for. And also they are very good at set pieces and how they cross, especially from Tian Lin. I think he's one player that we should look out for, as 2 of the goals so far he has got come from headers, and Quang Hai is also another player, as during the Malaysia game yesterday, he made an impact and assist the 3rd goal for Malaysia. Against Vietnam, I mean.
Yeah, so I think this is, rightly pointed out, Marcus. I think the problem with Vietnam, not say the problem, the threat that Vietnam pose, right, is that they are very deadly side, right? You make a mistake, they will pounce on your mistake and then they'll capitalize on it. You cannot. You look at Malaysia, they were 1 man down, but they put out a really good fight against them. But still, a strong Malaysia, not say a strong Malaysian side, I would say a resolute Malaysian side also came out short against them, right? So. With that being said, Sal, what are your thoughts about Singapore versus Vietnam?
For me, right, this is the game that we should put our best players in. Because if you want to know, right, we are playing in Jalan Besar, we are playing at a home ground, and we should take advantage of the home ground advantage. Because we have never lost at Jalan Besar since the last time we lost to Chinese Taipei, which is 2018. And I think, right, put on the best team, and one thing is to overcome a good Vietnam side, right? we need to use our wing play. So I
Yeah.
suggest that Nishigaya play the 4-2-3-1 back again, as what Tatsuma did before. You know, use the strength of our wingers, because we got very pacey wingers. We got four wingers who are quite who are very fast. You know, when I saw them, you know, in the last year Suzuki Cup and this season SPL, right? The wingers we have, right, are actually the informed players that we have. So I think we should, if we beat the Vietnamese wing, if we play our best, I think we should grind a 1-0 win, man. We just try to absorb whatever Vietnam is going to defend. We win this, and when we go to Malaysia, which they are playing 80,000, they are playing against 80,000 Malaysians. It's going to be a very big scene, and it's going to be a very difficult time, especially in Bukit Jalil, because I went there before. 200 Singaporeans against 80,000 Malaysians. It's not a very nice scene, you know.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
Just a fun fact. I'll be going up, so it's gonna be a very electric atmosphere. I'm gonna soak in the Bukit Jalil atmosphere. But like what you say, Sel, being only the 200 or 300 odd fans down there is gonna be very it's gonna be a sad, not sad sight. It's gonna be a very daunting sight. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think for me, you know, Nishigaya play his best team. Stop playing three at the back. Just play your strongest defender in Irfan Fandi, and then in Haris Harun. Left Shake, right you can play Hafiz Noor. Then the two in the middle you can play Anu and Zufami. Then you play Shawal, Van Huizen, and on the left, Shawal on the right. Center you can play Shadan, then or Song. And then Ilhan will be the focal point of the attack.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very fair.
That's the best. That's the best formation for any of the Singaporean teams. Stay in that thing. Build the 4-2-3-1 position in all of the age groups. And I will say we will be a better nation, better footballing nation than now. Stop.
Fair. Yeah. I think the problem, right, Sal, I think your points, you know, Marcus, also great points. I think the problem is that, you know, modern football, we are trying to transition to this 3-man at the back, you know, 2 wing back. So it's like flexibility and whatnot, but you know, don't have to look so far to the back. You know, even your Liverpool's, your you know, in the past, like the past 10 years, 4-2-3-1 is still very solid formation. Like what you're saying, Sal, you know, play to our strengths, right? We got Irfan Fandi, one of the best centre backs in AFF, the whole competition. You know, why are we trying to rotate this 3-man at the back, play from the back? No, I think we should, like what you say, be a bit more compact. You know, play 4-man at the back and then play through the wings. You know, that's why you rightly pointed out, right? We got the pace to actually, we got quite good wingers, you know, to take advantage and capitalize on that. You know, when we got Shawa Anwar, we got Imireka off the bench, we got Song. Actually, he's a very good cam, number 10, right? Which, you know, is the problem. I think Song suffers because when we play through the middle, he gets swallows up. You know, and it's sad to see because Song is actually one of our best creative players. But you know, when it's like 3 people swarming on you, there's nothing much you can do. Even if you are like the best player in the world, I mean, if I bet you, even if you have like Chanatip, you know, even if you, I think you'll still struggle because everyone is really like zoning onto you. You know, very, very fair points. You know what? I love the optimism from Salman. I think, you know what, now that you know your optimism about this, you know, the game plan, playing on the wings, using our pace, you know, I actually, and also the Jalan Besar artificial stuff, we can take advantage of that. Yeah, we can really do take advantage of that. By the way, before we move on to our next game, what are your score predictions? So Sal, are you still going for a 1-0 here? Do you think we can get a victory here?
Yes, take a 1-0, then we play our reserves in Malaysia.
Okay. And I actually, you know, we have differing views because I said that we should go all out at Bukit Jalil, but you know, you've been there before, 80,000 fans. It's not going to be easy for the Singapore team, right? Even if we play our best football, you know, the atmosphere is going to be electric down there, which is against to our favor, right? Against us. Marcus, what are your predictions for this game? Do you think Singapore can eke out a victory, or do you think Vietnam is too strong?
I think Vietnam is too strong and they will win us by 3-0.
Okay. Fair. I think the it's very fair for, you know, of course, you know, let's be honest here. We are all Singaporeans. We all want Singapore to win, but we sometimes, you know, we have to face the reality. You know, I'm not I won't be surprised, like for me, I'm going like a 3-0, 4-0 as well for Vietnam to win. But, I love people like Sel, and like what Joshua in the comments, we must have the optimism, right? Maybe Nishigai, as I said, like what Sel said, maybe so far we've been playing this kind of football and it's not been really working out. You know what? Screw it, man. Let's try something different. Go out unorthodox, make Vietnam be worried and like shocked, like, hey, what are we doing? We never seen Singapore play like that for so long. It could be a kamikaze kind of like a pull off a rabbit off the head kind of tactic from Nishigaya. All right, so thank you so much for the predictions. The chat is buzzing right now. Everyone's talking about like who's going up the Bukit Jalil and whatnot. I won't address that. I would talk more about the football. Any footballing comments. Nizam said that the shirt is fire. I think he's talking to you, Sel. I think everyone, Zach also said it's a very good shirt. And before that, Zach has been waiting on the stream for quite a while. Let me add him to the stream. Zach, I'm so sorry you've been waiting for a while, Zach. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Yes, yeah. I had a nap. I woke up late.
Yeah, Zach. All right. So, actually, it was going to be the four of us. So Zach unfortunately overslept, but it's okay. We are all here. So we are all from the community. Zach has been in the vlogs. If you guys been watching the vlog, he's also another tactical. Marcus is giving really good insights. Sel, as always on point with his sights and insights. And now we're going to hear from Zach, another tactical mastermind. Right? It's good to hear from the Singaporean contingent. Before I move on to the next topic, maybe I just pass the time to Zach. What do you think about Singapore Vietnam?
Yeah, so actually I did tune into your stream like about 5 minutes. So I was hearing everyone's opinions. So actually, I think it can go either way. I think I agree with both you and Sal. It can go either way. We have to rest the players somehow. So we can either rest it for this game or rest it for the Malaysia. I'm okay with either game. My only thing is, for a tactical perspective, we have to be very careful with Vietnam because they play very high intensity, and also interesting, Vietnam themselves play like a 5-back themselves. Actually, they play like they usually have the past weekend be like 5-2-1-2 with Quang Hai being the cam, so you'll be very very careful against them. Personally, how I would play against Vietnam is really we have to play some of the rotation players. Let's say Hami, maybe Zufami, that kind of thing. So like at least let them run, give them 50-60 minutes. Then we see where we go from there. Let's say we are just a goal behind. We are 2 goals behind. It's still within reach. Okay, But if it's like a total blowout, then okay, then let the reserves play. That kind of thing. I would personally go with a 5-3-2 personally to combat against Vietnam's, because Quang Hai is their best player in the center. So personally, I feel we should crowd the center and make it very difficult for him to play through us. Personally, I would go with that, but I also not sure what exactly Nishigaya is doing. In fact, I think everyone also does not know what Nishigaya is doing.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bit strange, right? Because Nishigaya, so far, Sal has rightly pointed out, maybe you should go for a 4-2-3-1. The 5-3-2, 3-5-2 is still 5-3-2 is like a 3-5-2 basically. It's just how you play your wing backs, your full backs, right? So I don't know. Maybe we can see how. So far, he's been doing the 3-5-2, 5-3-2 kind of setup. To not much success, I would say. I think our personnel in this squad, in this 23-man squad, doesn't really favor the 3-5-2, which is what Sal is alluding to. Maybe a 4-2-3-1 would better suit our needs, right? Okay, before we move on, Marcus, do you want to say anything to what we've been saying? Do you think 4-2-3-1? Do you think 3-5-2? Like Zach's point, do you think that we should get Hami Shaheen on the and Zufami more on the midfield presence? Your thoughts, Marcus?
I think we should work with the normal 4-2-3-1. I don't understand why do we need to play a back 5, back 3 at all. And why do we need to play so defensive when we can play more attacking?
Fair. Yeah. I think, again, we have to work with our strengths, right? Attacking. Yeah. Go ahead, Zach.
Just to add to Marcus, but I think the main reason why we have not been playing like 4-2-3-1, that kind of thing, is that it's because of the midfield duo, the issue. Because currently, right, with Haris in defense and so on, the midfield duo, right, is usually Shadan Shahiran or Shadan Zufami. So the issue is that Zufami and Shadan, okay, that combination is just not very mobile, and it's going to suffer against Vietnam, confirm. And somehow like Vietnam also going to play like let's say there are 2 centimeters. Then we are going to play the man for man. We're just going to get overwhelmed, that kind of thing. So it's like,
Yeah.
imagine 34-year-old Shada chasing after the ball against Kang Hai. That is quite suicide in my opinion. So then even let's say we consider, let's say whoever partners, let's say Shada, let's say Shah Xiara actually has done really well for his age, but it's that he's still inexperienced. His best attribute is like on the ball when he can play, that kind of thing. His best attribute is not like covering ground, up and down, that kind of thing. So personally, if we go with a two-man midfield, it's a bit scary against Vietnam because we're going man for man. If let's say we go Nishigaya's 3-4-3, in the center we're going man for man. So it's going to be very, very difficult. That's why my personal opinion is we play a 5-3-2. So let's say, and also protect Shadan better, much better, because there are two side midfielders that can cover for Shadan. Especially it would suit Hamisan. In fact, it would be very similar to Singapore's setup against Myanmar in the second half, where Hamisan came on and we played a 5-3. Hamisan got into very advanced positions, play and so on. Yeah, so it can work either way. Because 42 also it will be the same issue, right? Like let's say Song Cam, right? Song Cam, two wingers, one striker, Ilhan probably. So it's the same issue. We have two midfielders, not very mobile, cannot cover ground. We are gonna have a problem. So
Fair.
personally I would go there.
Yeah.
Let me put in my perspective. Why 4-2-3-1 works? Because it can be a 4-5-1. And one thing, right, we have two midfielders who are not being used to their strengths. Zulfahmi is the best ball distributor in the whole of Singapore. Nobody beats him. You can see he can pass the ball, towards the wings. And we have wingers who can run, who can cross. Why don't you use to that tactic? If you are defending 4-5-1, if we are attacking, you can play 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3. It's up to them. One thing is the most important thing, right? Singapore has used this wing play to the best. We beat Arab teams using 4-2-3-1. Why don't we use it? We beat Yemen. We beat the likes of Palestine 4-2-3-1, and it's with Zulfahmi and Anu, or Zulfahmi and Shadan. Why I suggest Anu is ahead of Shadan is because Anu is a very good defensive midfielder, but you put him
He's
on
a
the
destroyer.
center,
He's a destroyer. Yeah.
he can
He's a
play,
destroyer.
no problem. I know him very well since the times he was in Young Lions, and he's a very good defensive midfielder. He can also attack, because he has a strength of a bull. But then one thing is right. Why I put 4-2-3-1 is because, right, if Vietnam most of the attacks come from the center. If there is some issue with the midfield, right, you can create the two at the midfield, right, can come back at the back. Maybe Zulfahmi will stay a bit above and Anu comes behind. So it can become a 4-1-1, 3-1, something like that. So the most important thing against Vietnam is to guard Quang Hai and to burst through the three at the back, Vietnam. Actually, to tell you the truth, Vietnam has not even got a good challenge in their defense. So to me, right, why don't we use our strikers and Ilhan's height to attack the Vietnamese defense?
Fair. I think both. Yeah. Both. I mean, both of you are saying really good points. I can understand both points, and I think the thing is, like what Zach is alluding to is that I think he's saying like the different formations is because our personnel would not be suited against Vietnam. But like Sel is saying, in the past, like we won a better squads. Why? Because we play a 4-2-3-1 where we use our wings to our best of our abilities, and then we got Anu kind of like the destroyer for us and giving us that kind of defensive midfield stability. Whether we can absorb pressure or not, that's going to be another question. That's also another whole different conversation, right? But maybe I would say maybe start Anu and Zulfahmi. What do you guys think? Like what Sel is suggesting, maybe put Shadan, give him a rest. Maybe we play him against at Bukit Jalil. What do you think, Marcus? Do you think that we should play start Anu over Shadan Sulaiman?
Yeah, start Anu over Shadan. Rest Shadan and play him against the Malaysia match, because his age is already 34 and he needs some rest now.
Yeah, fair. Okay, Zach, your thoughts? Do you think Anu should come on as like our midfield to kind of like be our destroyer of sorts?
Yeah, actually, if you go for the if Anu plays, it wouldn't be that bad. Personally, I would assume Song would be the cam lah, right? That's what everyone's assuming lah, right? If you go 4-2-3, it wouldn't be that bad. It wouldn't be that bad. The only issue is the I would say the issue is that we have been playing 3 backs so long. They're gonna change to that whether the players can adapt or not. Cause
Fair.
yes,
Yeah.
last year Tatsuma, yeah, I know he did very well. He changed game, he changed it from case to case. But to be fair, when he changed, sometimes he changed the formation. It was against weaker teams. Like for example, against Myanmar, remember the first game 3-0, we were 3-0 up, we were cruising, then he changed the formation. You know that kind. We try. Then the next game we played that 3-4-3 against Philippines, right? Yeah, Philippines. Yeah, Timor-Leste was a 4-2-3 if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yep.
So the thing is that it also issue whether the players can adapt and so on. Like I know midfield wouldn't be that bad of an idea, but I'm not also a bit. I'm also not sure whether Nishikawa sees him as a center midfield. That's another issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True, he's been deployed as a centre back so far, and I heard from some insiders that actually the front three, the back three that Nishigaya prefers, right, is Anu, Haris Harun, and Irfan Fandi. That's the back three that he prefers. So I mean that's also another conversation. Go ahead. If anyone wants to, please. Yeah.
I think that would be okay, if Shakir Hamza play left wing back. Because that's what happened, right? If you remember last year, against Indonesia and the Philippines, before Shakir got injured, Shakir was the left wing back. So it's possible. But Anu as centre back, a bit suspect. And somehow if you play Anu, Haris, and Irfan, right? So it's a very weird combination because all three are right footers. So I will assume Irfan plays the right centre back, right? Then Haris plays the middle centre back. So Anu is playing the left centre back. And he's right footed. He's not angle on the ball. He's right footed. And that could be a big issue. So
it's gonna expose him a bit.
Entirely sure. Yeah.
Fair. It's gonna expose him a bit. And I've watched Sailors game enough to know that Anu and Haris Harun is not the option for us at the back and centre back. That's just my personal opinion. I feel like, I like Bill Mamadou. I rate Bill Mamadou highly. I think next time he can be a quality centre back for us in the future. Let's move on to the next game, which is Malaysia, right? I think we've got really good topic points so far. Just go through some comments. Luca said big up. Thank you so much, Luca. Cheers for tuning in. Kickoff, I say we take the L against Vietnam by resting all key player and play out for a win for the next game. We addressed that earlier on. Yeah, I think Sal fully disagrees with you, Kickoff Art. I was with you as well. I agree with you, Kickoff Art, but Sal has actually got me thinking maybe 80,000 seater Bukit Jalil is not going to be the wise decision to rest our players and go all out there. Could be a suicide mission, right? Okay. So Josh said that we should play 6-3-1 versus Vietnam. Okay, maybe play really, really defensive also. Sal disagrees with that. Anu is the antithesis of attack, bro. Yeah, okay, yeah. So maybe that's why Anu has been more of a centre back in Nishiga's eyes because Anu doesn't really give us a lot going up. So maybe that's why. Again, feel free to interrupt me, guys. And also, if you guys need to go off, if you're taking too long, please let me know. Feel free to leave or and anytime interrupt me if you guys want to say something. All right. I think the reason why we can't play a back four is the lack of quality defensive fullbacks. I think that's very fair as well. You think so? Not so, Sal? Do you think that we have fullbacks that we can rely on?
Actually, we have a very good fullbacks. And most of us, tell you seriously, what we have in the defense, right, is more of fullbacks and not wingbacks.
Okay.
You can see how they play. They are more defensively, but this is what I get from one of the local players when they were playing for their local team. Most of the teams, right, they like to play wingbacks, but then it will tire out the wingbacks and you get more injured easily. So that's why you have some players, right, who are, especially they are playing wingbacks, they retire early and get more injury prone. So for me, right, why don't we stay as a fullback, and then we can just play on the wings. That's it, man. And
I would imagine
people like Nazrul Nazari, Shakir Hamza are very good fullbacks. You can also use Fahan Zulkifli, who can play, but Fahan is more better played up front. And also, Ryan Stewart is one of the best wingbacks we have.
Yep.
I can say the only problem is, right, when we played against Myanmar, I'm not so sure why Ryan Stewart play more towards the center than in the wings. I'm not so sure. Maybe it's because of his tactical, his tactical nous, or maybe because he felt that the defense is being overwhelmed, so he ran towards the center back. So that is the mistake that he did during the game against Myanmar. But against Laos, he did very well.
Okay, just to have a bit of counter argument here. I agree, you Sal, but just to play a bit of devil's advocate. Maybe why they play a more wing back, they're transitioning to more wing back instead of fullback. I agree with you. You know, when you play wing back, right, you're tiring them out because they got defensive they have defensive responsibility. Then they are needed to go up. So like what someone said earlier on. We get tired out too easily. So that's where we get exposed, right? Very fair point.
Yeah.
But maybe is it because that our offensive players are not tracking, are not pressing hard enough? So hence why we have to depend on our wingbacks to be like our savior. I don't know. I put it out there because if you play 4-2-3-1, the wingers, right, have to also track back, and then they have to play a bit more pressing kind of formation, and then it's going to tire them out on the attack as well. So I think it's like a catch-22 kind of thing. Is where you have either or. But I do agree with you, I think 4-2-3-1. Why not we try and go at Vietnam and let's explore it. Or not we go 3-5-2, a bit boring. We've been playing this kind of formation, not been working out too well. Why not try it out, right?
And 3-5-2 is more for teams who are good in ball possession. And Singapore has never been a good country playing ball possession.
Very fair point.
None of the Southeast Asian teams can play ball possession. We are mostly, absorbing and counter. That's what is Southeast Asia football about. You want to play 3-5-2? Watch Japan more.
Yeah, Japan is the okay. Marcus, do you have anything to say, Marcus, about what we're saying about like the 3-5-2, the 4-2-3-1?
No.
You agree? No? Okay. Zach, any thoughts from you, Zach?
Yeah, I just want to add on like play 4-3-3, yeah, it's fine. The only issue is that 4-3-3, one of the key differences of 4-2-3, let's say okay, because Vietnam playing their 3-back, 5-back lah, right? So let's 3-back, 5-back. So the key thing, right, is that when defensively, right, is our wingers need to be careful how deeply they track the wingbacks. Because if you like for the Myanmar game, we have to be very careful how deep you track. Because if you track the wingers track the opponent wingbacks too deep, right, then we get pushed back very, very deep. Then let's say our two wingers, whoever plays, Shower probably one of them, and let's say Faris plays the other winger. Then we're gonna have like what Josh said in the chat, 6-3-1 shape. Then there's just no counter attacking ability, personally. So it's the communication, and also for the matter, when the winger they have to know like when for example, let's say the winger checking the wing back. Okay, let's say past this point, let's say past the in the last of the pitch. Okay, the fullback must be able to take over, say, okay, that's my man, that kind of thing. So it's really down to the communication and so on, because that's the offset information, right? When you play a 4 against a 3/5. So that's the caveat lah. Personally, I will go 5-3-2. Because I feel that we have two very good cards. We have Ilhan and Shower. Then midfield 3, just pray and hope. Because for the matter, we also need to keep the goal difference down. Unless for the matter, we need to keep the goal difference down. So in case, let's say the Malay, we need to keep the goal difference down just in case of anything lah. So.
Fair.
That's what I also feel.
Okay.
But fine. Everyone, the ball is round.
Yeah. All right. This has been so fantastic. I love the conversation going on. Thank you so much, Marcus. Thank you so much, Sal. Thank you so much, Zach. You guys, I think this has been really, really great. Just want to say why I'm saying this, because there's 28 people here right now. So just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you've been entertained by Marcus, by Sal, by Zach, by myself. Next time in the future, we can have more rotation of panelists. I think this has been such great talks. I think this is what we love to see. Whether we agree, whether we disagree, but at least we hear each other's perspective so that we see what is the best option for us in Singapore. Maybe even Nishiga is tuning in right now, giving, maybe he needs some advice on, what we think. We are watching from the screen, so maybe we see a bit more tactical from the screen, right? Okay. So just with that being said, before we go to our predictions for Malaysia, Singapore, I just want to say that stay tuned. We're going to do a special jersey giveaway at the end. I didn't say this earlier on. I wanted to say at this timing. And yeah, just stay tuned. Thank you so much for the viewership. Thank you so much. Like, comment, subscribe to the Goal Difference. I really appreciate it. The community, we are growing in numbers. We are definitely plan more of these kind of activities for the community. All right. So I won't go through all the comments because I think we are going through. I don't know. Are you guys in a hurry to leave? I can go on. I legitimately can go. I love talking football. What if you guys need to leave?
Go on until midnight, man. No problem, man. For me.
All right. Okay. If that's the case, right? Okay. We will. Marcus, you need to anytime, Marcus, if you need to leave, please let me know. Right? If you're not, you feel free. Just we love to hear from you as well, Marcus. All right. Yep, Marcus. You got it. You got it. Anything?
Yep.
If you need to leave, yep. Okay, got it. Got it. Okay, so okay, if that's the case, right? Let's talk deeper into football, right? I know we are also obsessed over it's over Singapore football, yeah. All right, so let's go through some comments, yeah. Braden, right? I think okay. So Braden, no, this guy said Jacob say Shakir is the best centre back. I think this is a troll comment. I think this is a troll comment, but I would say he's the most experienced other than Irfan. So whether he's the best, there's another question. But experience-wise, in this squad, he's probably the most experienced. I would say 4-3-3 defense. Yes. Actually, I wanted to address this point, to Sal's point, right? I agree with Sal. I think, let's try maybe a 4-2-3 or 4-3-3, right? But with a 4-3-3, right, let me ask you, Sal, do you think that Song will be the guy that's going to be compromised? I believe,
Actually,
because I don't... Yeah, go ahead.
okay, actually, Tatsuma started off with a 4-3-3. If you really pay attention to his games last year, and it actually brought into good effects. The only problem is the left side of the wing, the striker, right? We have a problem because we don't have much left-footed wingers actually. So that's the problem with that. But I think if to play 4-3-3, right, you can either try Song on the left because Song can play anywhere, or you can try Emireka because that's what he play for Hougang. And I think for me a 4-2-3-1, I can also transition to 4-3-3, no problem. Just push one of the center midfielders you can play on the left. But the problem is we do not have much, left-footed players in the Singapore team.
Fair. That's a very fair point. All right, that's fair. Okay, so let's move on to the next point. We need to start our strongest. Who say 6-3-1 disagree? We should play 4-3-3, cancel out 4-4-2-4. We should start our strongest lineup first. If we couldn't get a result, we should sub those main players, prepare for the Malaysia game. I mean, this is like I would say this is like a half thing, right? Which may not be good for morale, because we go out thinking that we can win against Vietnam, then we get not the result, then we rest them, then going to Bukit Jalil with what Sal say 80,000 fans. Most of them is going to be 79,500 is going to be Malaysian fans. It's going to be a bit of a demoralizing factor. Yeah. Possibly. Matthias said, come on SG, you Lions. I agree with Sal's formation. Muhammad Fahd, I think, he's talking about your 4-2-3-1. I think he agrees with you. Fair, very fair. I would say 4-1-3-2, rotating center. Okay, Confederate is, another great friend of the show. Thanks for tuning in. I would say 4-1-3-2. Okay, rotating CDM center back. Vets are playing 5 forwards in possession, 2 rotating inside mid, left foot on the left foot on right foot on left. SG should play route 1 counter. Okay. There's a new perspective that we have not really considered, but that's also a very fair point. One central defensive mid, which is a rotating center back. That's what he's saying. Confederate said the JBS pitch is going to make the ball zig fast on the ground and the bounce is more pure and predictable. This is quite debatable, but okay, I see where is the point he's coming from. We need to be a bit more defensive. I agree, 4-3-3 defensive. Yeah, Joel, I think that's what agrees with Sal and Braden just now. 4-3-3, a bit more defensive, which is what Sal said. You can also rotate to a 4-2-3-1 easily, right, on the pitch with a 4-3-3. As long as we counter, we have numbers up front. Pounds on the second ball. Okay, fair. 6-3 basically 4-5-1 with wingers and wingbacks. Classic Jose Mourinho. Yep, classic Jose Mourinho. Marcus did not talk much. All right, so we have a request, right, Marcus? Maybe I'll ask Marcus a question because he's been a bit quiet so far, right? All right, so Marcus, do you think that Song should be our key player heading into Malaysia versus Singapore and also Vietnam versus Singapore? Because I feel like he's been a bit quiet. So what do you think, Marcus?
I think Song should be playing, starting for Vietnam and Singapore, maybe as a false number 9, as I see that he seems to play more suitable over there, as Malaysia is a must-win game for us, as Vietnam there is a very low chance if we want to qualify for the semi-final.
Okay, Fair. Marcus, you got a great point there. I always, when I watch Song, right, he's not the, when we talk about a cam, right, we always associate Song with as a number 10, right? But I always feel like Song, right, he's more of an attacking kind of, like what Marcus said, maybe like a false nine. He's not really a passer of sorts, right? He's more of like, you give me the ball, I bring it up, I will take the chances, I'll shoot, I will try and get the final ball in, which, we could possibly try that. Maybe if Ilhan Fandi is not up to maybe against Malaysia, if things are not going too well against Malaysia, maybe we can try Song up front potentially. But with Song up front, we lose a bit of the height presence, which is what we are known for, right? So far, look at our set pieces and our crosses. I think that's like what Sel and Zach pointed out. We tend to do well in those set piece and this kind of like deliveries into the box, which Song may not provide that height advantage. All right, so if Song play false nine, Ilhan, I think we are going to talk about like substitutes and whatnot. Play Ilhan as target man with back towards goal, get him to do the knockdowns. Yeah, I just want to say Ilhan, right, is I just gotta give credit when credit is due. I think you guys will agree with me that Ilhan's build-up play and his hold-up play has been fantastic. I think that's what he gives to Albarak the past season. And clearly you can see in Singapore, when he holds the play up, it gives time for our wingers and our midfield to go up and progress up to the pitch, which is crucial. Ilhan is not your Iksan. He's not like his brother. Iksan is more like a natural number 9. You give me the ball, I will take it, I will shoot it, right? Ilhan is more of like, okay, let me take the ball, let me try and facilitate, bring my wingers up, build the numbers up, Am I saying anything wrong here? Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys disagree with me? Let me know.
No, you're not wrong, man. You're not wrong.
That's
all
fair.
All right,
actually, Eugene. Yeah, actually, Eugene in the chat also brought up a good point that Song may not be 100%. Yeah. Song may not be 100%.
I think
he didn't look sharp at all against Laos. Yeah. So that's a big problem. Yeah.
So let me ask you guys, all right? So let me ask you all individually. Now we talk about Song, right? If you guys know that, if let's just say the assumption is Song is not 100%, right? Do we even really want to play him like full 90 minutes? I think we should just rest him, right? Like, and maybe like what Sal's point, right? Maybe bring in a more defensive structure. Maybe like Anu Zulfami and Shadan Sulaiman, or even Shah Shahiran, and sacrifice Song. Because if you're not 100%, maybe don't even risk it, because not being 100%, going onto the pitch, giving your all, right, you're going to risk more injuries in the long term, right? So, Marcus, if Song is not 100%, do you still think that we should play him? What do you think, Marcus?
Maybe play him for like the last 10 to 15 of the minutes of the game, get him on the field a bit, familiarize him a bit with what Nishigaya want to play.
Yep, fair. Because you're not 100%, maybe just come in as like a 20-minute substitute, a more impactful sub at the end of the game, because players are more tired as well, right? Fair. Good point, Marcus. Maybe I'll pass it to Zach first. Zach, do you think that if Song is not 100%, should we still feel him?
I definitely wouldn't start him. I mean, as in like, and number one, I definitely will not start him. And number two, if he's not 100%, then 4-2-3-1 kind of goes out the window, right? Unless Faris plays in the camp. So yeah, 4-2-3-1 might go out the window, especially if Song is not fit. So yes, this is another issue why I felt we should have brought Gabriel Quack. So this extra winger.
Gabriel Quack is also another topic we can talk about later. All right, Sel, do you think that if Song is not 100%, should we start him? Should we not start him, Sel?
No.
Honestly, everyone is not 100%. you can see Shawal is carrying an injury. So does Ilhan Fandi. So does Chris Van Huyzen. So does Zulfami. So does Haris. So does almost the whole team is not 100%. But for me, you should start Song, because why? He is something like an enforcer. He's of all the AMs, right, I think he's one of the better players. He has more, tactical nose, other than some players that I don't dare to say, because I don't want to offend them. But I think start him. Then maybe if things are not going too well, sub him at the 60th minute or halftime. That's it. Okay,
fair. I think we have differing points here, but it's fair. If why if you are not Sal is saying that if the squad is fully, we can't have a fully 100% like wow like because it's been a long season for them as well, right? So if he's a quality player, maybe you should just play him and see how it goes, because sometimes players also they drive on adrenaline, right, when they're on the pitch, and Song is like what Sal says, he's one of our best tactically sound players on the pitch, so he can open up the game. He gives us that kind of presence in the final third, which we sorely will miss without him. In the Laos game, he wasn't really like blowing up in our screens, but you can see when he gets the ball, it becomes more lively in the final third. So there's the kind of presence and the impact that he has. But Zach's point, Gabriel Quack. Oh, maybe let me just before we talk about Gabriel Quack, right? How about we talk about our predictions for Malaysia versus Singapore first? Then we can talk about this free conversation. I mean, then we feel free to talk about all this kind of what's the one I'm looking for? Impromptu topics. All right. So let me start off first. Malaysia versus Singapore. My predictions is if we lose to Vietnam, my predictions is Vietnam, we're going to get hammered by Vietnam. That's my predictions, right? I still think that, like what Sal said, Bukit Jalil is going to be a daunting place to get a victory. Yes, I agree with him, but it's going to be, for us, it's going to be like an all out. We have to get a victory here, right? So, as a Singaporean, I'm going up there. I hope it's going to be a 2-1 victory for Singapore. This is not really me thinking tactically. I just hope that we can get a 2-1 victory over Malaysia. It's going to be very difficult, like what Sal say. I agree with him. But for me, my predictions is 2-1 at Bukit Jalil, Singapore win. Marcus, let me give it to you. What's your predictions for Singapore versus Malaysia?
Wow. I think this is going to be a very tight game. I think it's going to be Singapore to win this game 3-2.
Okay. 3-2. So it's going to be a high-scoring affair. Marcus thinks it's going to be like similar to the Myanmar game, maybe 5-goal thriller here at Bukit Jalil. Sal, what are your predictions for this game? Okay, wait. Sorry, before. Sorry, I'm so sorry, Sal. This is the assumption that we need to get a victory, right? Let's just say we lose to Vietnam. Let's assume that Singapore needs to get a victory here. What are our predictions?
This will be a fiery affair. As you want to know, right? If you need to know, right? Malaysia has not won us, I think, for the last 4 years or so. They have never
5 years, if I'm not wrong. I checked.
5 years, yeah. They last won when Singapore hosted the Suzuki Cup in 2017.
2016.
2016, yeah.
20?
That was the last time they won us 4-1. But after that,
I thought 3-1.
4-1.
Wait, it was in 2014 when they won us 3-1. I think
3-1,
during
yeah,
the
correct.
90 minutes, then they overtook us.
Yeah, that was the last time they won us. So Malaysia will be, more motivated in this game, and they are playing at home with the Ultras Malaya supporting them. Of course, they will want to murder us at home. But truthfully, right? If you see the lineup of the Malaysia team, they are basically not playing any JDT players. The JDT players are the reason why the Malaysian team is in the AFC Cup right now, and not the current team. So if you want to know, the only worry, right, is the 93.20 minutes Sergio Aguero goal. Because they have a Sergio Aguero up front. Yeah, and he's not that bad as a player. He's quite good. He's like,
and he's on form. He's
scored. Also. Yeah. But other than that, they are basically playing most of some of the players who were playing in the SEA Games, especially the defense and the goalkeeper. And they are quite high suspect also. So I think for this game, if we lose to Vietnam, I think we should have a good chance if we attack, play our strongest team. Maybe we should win 3-1. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going for 2-1. Marcus going for 3-2. Sal says 3-1. Zach, your thoughts? Okay, before I pass the time to Zach, I need to head to the toilet. So please, Zach, go ahead. Yeah, give your thoughts about the game while I head to the restroom, and I'll be back. All right? Go ahead.
Yeah. So actually, I was doing some research on actually the Malaysian shape. Malaysia actually has played a similar shape to us, like 3-4-3 actually, except for the Vietnam game. They went 4-3 and they got absolutely hammered. So I think Malaysia actually I think stylistically, I think we also will go 3-4-3 against away in Malaysia. So I think it'll be a very, very tight game and so on. Like we really need to focus on not conceding early on, not getting blown out of the water. It's not, it will just be a shit storm and like it could end up 3-4 if we not careful. So but I'm hopeful. My prediction is 1-0. We get a lucky goal and we just see it through. Hopefully. And then probably we're gonna face Thailand, and that's another problem.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm all right with facing Thailand, but you have to know that this Malaysian team, I think, is beatable, because if you see how they play against Vietnam, Vietnam basically discovered all their holes, and they struggled against Myanmar, and they struggled against Laos also until the second half, where Laos basically gave up their back line and they scored five goals. So for me, I think Malaysia would be an easier game. The problem is, right, if you play away against Malaysia, you are playing against their fans also, and that
Yeah.
is the reason why I wanted Singapore to, just give it all out. Because for me, as a person who used to coach football also, I rather finish my competition, ASAP, qualify early. Then after that, the last game, I can play the likes of Fahan, I can play likes of Amirul Adli, Shah Shahiran, I can play who else? Who really plays?
Joshua Pereira.
Joshua Pereira in the midfield. I mean, you can try that against Malaysia. Yeah, but Vietnam, I think, right, since we are playing in JBS, if we win Vietnam tomorrow, I mean on Friday, it will be a very big,
Oh,
victory. I think
if we
people will be
if we
crying.
get a victory, right? Yeah, you're saying right.
If-
So I agree. If it's a victory, I tell you, the morale for the Singapore side will be super high. The fans, our Singapore fans will be, if everyone who at least watches a bit of general football knows that Vietnam is the strong side, right? So if we do get a victory at Jalan Besar, right? I tell you, the Singapore morale, you don't even talk about of course, the hardcore fans like us will be damn happy, but even the neutrals will be a bit more like, wow, Singapore can do it, that morale
We
for
will
the
see
country will
it's
be
coming home. We will see it's coming
Yeah,
home in Vietnam. I tell you, I will
we are
start the
gonna.
cheer.
All right, man. You love to see it. You love to see it. Zach, sorry, I was away. What are your score predictions? What do you say?
I said probably 1-0, a very tight affair because both teams don't make
Okay.
mistakes and so on, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, but like what Sel said, if we do get actually, yeah, if we get a draw against Vietnam, that doesn't change much, right? We still need a win, right?
Yeah.
No.
Wait,
Eh?
no, we just need to play for a draw.
No.
We
If
need
we
to just play for a
draw,
draw.
yeah, if we take points off Vietnam, we can play for a draw. But the thing is, I think to counterpoint Sal's point, if we somehow win Vietnam, we have to. I do not see we can play the weaker team. I think we might have to play a strong team because we want to finish as the group winners, right? Then face Indonesia, then face Thailand, right? Because Thailand is next level good, right? In my opinion. So I like you see they talk about Philippines. I know Philippines off form. You can say that. But even if you watch just the highlights, right, you see 20, 30 minutes in how many chances Thailand created. Thailand is just next level good, and yeah. So I'm not very
Fair.
happy to face that. If they somehow avoid them, face our old foes Indonesia, yeah, that will be our revenge time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Yeah, no, if we start, I think I agree with Zach also. If we do get a victory over Vietnam, why not let's go all out and fight another victory at Malaysia? Maybe rotate. I think to Sal's point, you can do a bit of rotations, but of course we are going to gun for a victory, right? And hopefully can finish on the top of our group and then face Indonesia because. I mean, if we do, to me, if we do qualify out of this group, it's really a very successful AFF Mitsubishi Cup, especially the squad that we have. And, going up against Thailand, I will also be. It's going to be I think there's going to be like a foregone conclusion. I hope I want to be a bit more positive, but yeah, Thailand is like what Zach says, another level indeed. Okay, so we've got 1-0 for Zach. I've got 2-1 for myself. Zach's Marcus is going for 3-2, and Sal's going for 3-1 at Bukit Jalil. That's assuming that we need to get a victory at Bukit Jalil. All right. All right. So before we go
I'll
to
be
Marcus,
leaving the stream now.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so Marcus is going to leave the stream. Thank you so much for your time, Marcus. Hope that the community will take a while to say bye bye. But if you are, I think later they'll say bye bye to you, Marcus. Thank you so much, Marcus. This will not be your last time. I appreciate the time and your insights your takes were really insightful. Thank you so much, Marcus. Have a good night. All right.
Bye.
See you, Marcus. All right, so it's down to the three musketeers. Marcus has left us. Marcus is a good friend of the show. Definitely, as I said, it won't be the last time that we'll say. Anyway, before we move on to a bit more free and easy, right? If your guys are free, we can talk we can talk for the next 1 hour. I'm okay. All right. So before we do that, let me do this jersey giveaway. So just wanted to say that I had a friend whose name is on YouTube. He wants to stay anonymous, right? His name is Ice Kill on YouTube. He came into the stream last night, my Arsenal versus West Ham stream, and then he said that he wanted to give away some of his jerseys for the community. So, I just wanted to say I'm very thankful for that. He wants to give back to the community, and he gave some of jerseys for me to give away. And over the next few streams, I'm going to do like jersey giveaways, right? So, so today's jersey giveaway, let me pen it to you all, right? It's going to be a player-issued Singapore jersey, all right? I think this is the 2018 version with the Singapore flag at the back. This neon blue one. Yep. It's size medium, so it's a bit tight, all right? So just to let you guys know, I'm going to give this away today. Yep, I don't know whether you guys can see. Yeah, so this jersey, size medium, is a bit tight. All right, so very simple. You guys can also feel free to win it also. Just want to say that if you are still here, thank you so much. Please help me subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot. And this jersey, the Ice Kill said that he wanted the channel to grow in numbers. So, hopefully that we can do him justice as well, because these jerseys are also not cheap. And it's all brand new with tag. You can see, wait, let me show you the tag. Brand new with tag. All right. So he requested me to give you a very easy answer, a trivia, right? So I don't know, Sal. I don't know, Zach, if you want to answer this. Maybe for the fun, maybe give it to the chat. All right, we will see. All right. So the chat, if you want to win this Singapore jersey, you just need to let me know how many times has Singapore won the AFF Cup. Whether you want to call it Suzuki Cup, the Tiger Cup, the Mitsubishi Cup, whatever cup, how many times have we won it? It's a very simple question. To be honest, it's a very nice jersey to win. It's a player issued size M Nike. All right, feel free to put in the chat. Okay, so Joshua with a very nice answer, 25. I hope we have won 25 times. Okay, so we have quite a few, but I think AL answer. Let me check on the other stream to make sure that okay, so yes, Aloysius has answered it correctly. AL. So yes, AL has won the jersey, right? So I'll contact you after the stream, right? So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. You guys have really answered so many. You know what? Since the turnout has been so good, right? You know what? Okay, just to let you guys know. Sorry, Sal. Sorry, Zach, if this is taking a bit too long. All right. These jerseys, right? Ice Kill said that he's gave me a few jerseys. All right. So you know what? Let me do another giveaway on the spot, on the fly. All right. Let me get it. Hold on.
Are you giving away a current shirt?
No current shirt. Unfortunately, no current shirt. A bit difficult to give a current shirt. All right. So, you guys since the support is so good right now in this stream, right? I'm going to give away another one, and it's also courtesy of Ice Kill. All right. So, I don't know whether Ice Kill is in the chat, but we can say big up to Ice Kill. This is going to be a Russia jersey. He's also passed me this long sleeve Russian jersey. It's an XL. Brand new with text, number 30. I don't know who number 30 is, but he has no name. It's one of those like training kits, but it's long sleeve. XL, brand new with text. With the World Cup patch. Let me show it. With the World Cup patch. 2018 Russia World Cup patch. Okay, so this is also up for grabs. So it's a Singapore one. Aloysius won it. Big up to you, Aloysius. I'll contact you after the stream. Okay. You know what? Sel and Zach, do you want to ask a question to the stream to win this jersey? Maybe you go ahead. Feel free, man. For the next this question you ask, right, is the chat is gonna win this Russia jersey, right? XL Adidas Russia jersey. You guys want to give a trivia?
How about Sel come up with one and I come up with one?
Okay, since my favorite player is Shawal Anwar in the team, how many SPL clubs, and name me the clubs that Shawal Anwar has played in his whole career in the SPL?
Oh, there's a spicy one. Okay, fair. I mean, okay, this giveaway, right? I know you guys can go and Google the answers whatsoever. Okay, if you want to go and do that, I'm not going to question your integrity. This is all for fun and it's for the community, right? But let's try and have some fun here. Give some wrong answers here and there. I think we can have some fun. So after this, we will also answer Zach's question as well. So let's see who can do it. Josh has said 8 clubs. No, I don't know whether he's talking to you, Sel, but okay. So, Luke said Geylang International, Hougang United. Okay. Chakra said Geylang, Hougang, LCS. Do you count LCS, Sel?
That one is current one. I say it's the current one. So he just joined LCS, so it's not counted, man.
Okay. So the question is, how many clubs has he played for in the SPL, right? Shawar Anwar, right?
So far.
Okay. All right. So you got some to Barcelona, Real Madrid. Zach asked how many Community Shields Haaland has won. Okay, so Keppel, Geylang, Hougang, LCS. Is Jonathan correct, Sal?
Keppel is not an SPL team, but he really played for Keppel Monaco before that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no one so far, right? No one so far has got it right to win this Russia
There's
number 30.
There's one actually.
There's one?
There's Luke.
Luke has said that Geylang International, Hougang United.
Yep.
Okay, so Luke, you know what? Before we give Zach's question, I'm going to give. Let's award this jersey to. Since you were the first one as well, I think it's only fair, right? So Luke, you just won yourself a Russian XL Adidas jersey, right? This is a beautiful jersey. I'll contact. DM me on Instagram on the goal difference. DM me, and then I will contact you, and then we will arrange. How I can pass this jersey to you. All right. So we got two winners today. Singapore, size M player issued 2018 away jersey to Aloysius AL, and then to Luke, he's just won a Russian number 38 World Cup long sleeve XL Adidas jersey. All right. So Zach, you know what? I'm going to save your question for next time. All right, there'll be another jersey giveaway in the next live preview whatsoever. All right. So thank you everyone for supporting the channel. It means a lot. Help me do subscribe to the channel, and also thank Zach. Is there any Instagram or whatsoever you can follow them as well? Sal is a big jersey collector. His collection is insane, right? If you guys have not seen it, this guy's jersey collection is crazy. Zach is a tactical mind in the game. It's great. We have a great look at it.
Whoa,
look at that! Look at that! Holy cow, Sal. Oh my, that's a collection, man. I mean, that's not I
your
did
wife
say
or
right,
your
Sal.
girlfriend never complain.
I'm single, man, so it's okay.
Okay. Not yet. It's good to that. So, what countries have Sergio Aguero played for? That's a very trick question. Which Sergio Aguero are you talking about?
Yep, I agree,
Alright.
man.
So, yeah. So, okay. With that being said, let me close the stream. Right. Okay, not close the share page. All right. So, just before we move on to a bit more on the free and easy part of this show, before we talk about more general stuff, I just want to say thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it. This giveaway is thanks to iSkill. Thank you so much, bro, for passing this jersey to help the community to grow. With that being said, this is going to be an open discussion, and in the future, Sal and Zach, I mean, next time definitely you guys feel free to come on. I think this kind of preview shows, right? I want to do more in the future, and then let's do more of this like open discussion. We can talk anything about football, Singapore Premier League. We can talk about transfer rumors, talk about how maybe Hougang played recently and did they do well. Zach, are you both of you are Hougang fans, right? Maybe if Geylang and Hougang face preview, we can talk about it. I will support the Eagles. Well, you guys will hammer me with your hools and your Hougang points. Fair. We can have a friendly banter here and there. All right. So, with that being said, thank you so much for everyone still tuning in. I do appreciate it. And this is going to be open discussion time. We've gone on for about 1.5 hours. If you need to go because it's still a work day tomorrow, please go ahead. I do appreciate all the support. If you want to feel free to stay on, we're just going to talk about football in a very general and random topics here and there. All right. So let me kick it off, yeah. You know what? No. Let me Sal. Anything you want to talk about? Maybe you can pass the time to Sal first. Any questions you want to ask the chat? Any questions you want to ask Zach and myself? Go ahead.
Not a question. You give me question, I can answer a lot.
Okay. Then maybe I will start United all the way, or we are international confederates. Yeah. We will have a friendly banter here and there. All this Gunnar 2006 Zach, where you cut your hair, fresh cut. Zach has a fresh cut. 2 and 1. Okay, so let me ask a general question here. Do you think that Singapore qualifying Okay, no. If we don't qualify, right, let's just say we lose to Vietnam, we lose to Malaysia. Do you think that this was a successful Mitsubishi Cup, or do you think that it's been like, wow, Nishigaya has been lackluster, Singapore did not perform well? What do you? Maybe I'll pass to Zach first. Zach, what do you think?
Personally, of course, not qualifying would be a disaster. In fact, we wouldn't look good, especially on the weaker Malaysia side. But I personally, in my opinion, I feel Singapore football has bigger and higher aims. In my personal opinion, I feel that the players have to improve. You know, when we need more a lot of things needs to change. Let's say in our league, and so on and so on. A lot of things have to change. We have to improve in different areas. In fact, I think the better barometer of our success would be, let's say, going further in, let's say, the World Cup qualifiers, or let's say getting to the Asian Cup. To me, that's a more accurate barometer of success, because the Suzuki Cup, wow, I know everyone wants to win the Suzuki Cup. I know last time we won the Tiger Car and so on, so on and so forth. The thing is that it's still a small international tournament for us. So and tournaments have very high variance. You know, let's say we get a lousy draw, we are out. You know, that kind of thing. So like imagine, let's say we had Thailand and Indonesia in our group. You know, I think will be decided very early. So personally, I don't really like use tournaments to judge success, because it can be very it can like, imagine, let's say, one penalty kick can just decide the fate of your coach. Like, that doesn't make sense, right? Like your player could have an off day, your player could have a good day. You know, there's a lot of, I feel that's very unfair. Like, imagine if France took the penalties better, they'll be double champions, or Messi would have so-called bottled the World Cup. You know, that count. It's very easy to craft narratives out. So personally, I don't look at the tournament itself, the results necessary, but then maybe like the gradual progression in other areas, let's say World Cup qualifiers, for example, would be a better barometer of success. Yeah.
Fair. So I see where you're coming from. You know, cup competition, that's the sad thing about cup competition for managers, especially because if you have a bad showing, like what you say, it can be just unlucky. You know, you have a good squad, you have good tactics, but one wrong kick of the day, maybe you lose 1-0, you know, you have everything going against you and you get sacked the next morning. Sometimes it's quite unfair for, you know, this kind of aspects. Sel, do you think that if we get knocked out in the group stages, do you think that this has been a successful Mitsubishi campaign for Singapore?
Of course, it won't be. I mean, a lot of people, if we don't qualify, a lot of people will be after Nishigaya's ass because he wasn't the first choice. He was a shock selection for our national coach. We did not realize it was like last minute get this coach, because the rest are not in budget or not available. But then for me, it's also due to our footballing culture in Singapore. I mean, if you see our national pool, we don't have much players to select. And if the likes of Shadan, Haris, you know, they are in their 30s, if they retire, who is going to replace our players? That's the one scary thing that I'm thinking in my mind right now. Because right now, the only if you say about Jordan Emawiwe, Jacob Mahler, Shah Shahiran, are they good enough to replace, you know, the likes of Haris, Safwan, and Shadan? I'm not so sure, because they still haven't been tested yet in the international scene. So for me, one thing that we need to set us Singaporeans, we need to set our expectations. We have to understand that, you know, like, we are not the 2000s anymore. We don't have no Alam Shah, Indra Shadan, no Bayaki Kaizan, all this anymore. So we need to set down our to lower down our expectations. And right now, what FAS is doing for the Unleash the Raw, I mean, they are trying hard. They are trying to, you know, reset the button on Singapore football and say, you know, we have done a lot of things wrong in the past. Let's reset our button. But then, please, Singaporeans, please, you know, wait for the future, you know, because I think in the we need another about at least 7 or 8 years before you can see, you know, the Unleash the Raw and the Singapore Football Academy, whether it's bearing fruits or not.
Fair. I think both Zach and Sel has came from two different. It's not differing points. I think two separate points, but both are very true. Zach, do you
on
need
the
to
same
say?
issue.
Yeah, converging on the same issue. Yeah.
We are both converging. Is the lack of the talent pool is the issue. Not saying I can do better. I definitely none of us can do better. That's what we can put out. It's just that what I say is that to be a national team starter, you not only need to be good at SPL, like, or sometimes good at SPL, you need to be consistently good at SPL. In SPL, and maybe be an overseas player, that kind of thing. So that's the difference in quality. Like last time, actually, we have so many players we can call form. Like let's say, last time, let's say in the goalkeeping department, last time Shari Jantan barely had much game time, right? Because it was Lionel, after it was Hassan, and so on. So that was we had for our level at least. Last time we had luxury or riches, so that's clearly not the case right now. So that's kind of sad, and agree with what else. Whatever changes we make, it's not easy. Probably really see the fruits of labor in 5-10 years time. So it's really down to FAS
I
to
think
make sure that it's worth the wait in 10 years time.
Yeah. I think Sal, both of you are fantastic points, but Sal hit the nail to me, where it really resonated well with me. Is the expectations, right? We are coming to this Mitsubishi Cup as the oldest age squad in the league. I mean, in the competition, right? And correct me if I'm wrong. I may be wrong here, but I think I'm quite right. I mean, I'm quite certain, right, that we are the only nation that has brought at least 100 cap player. I don't think any other of the nations have a 100 cap player, right? We have got Hassan Sani and we got Haris Harun, right? So that's the problem, the expectation. Because we bring an experienced squad, obviously the expectation is, oh wow, we got experienced squad, we need to do at least qualify to be a semi-finalist, right? We don't qualify, it will look disastrous. And then like what Sal say, you bring a very old experienced squad and you don't qualify, you're actually harming your youngsters as well, because you don't bring your youngsters to play, right? They don't have experience. The next, you're basically setting it up for failure in the next Mitsubishi Cup, because the next cup you're going to bring your Jacob Mahler, who's got no experience, he's got very little exposure to the Mitsubishi Cup, and then he maybe get exposed, right? That's just the general trend or trajectory, right? With that being said, with Nishigaya, I think like what Sal said, right, and Zach also both pointed out that Nishigaya was like a very surprise pick for the Singapore national coach. And I think that's the reason why we are going for a very experienced coach. Experienced squad. Because Nishigaya had like 7 months to prepare this team, and he probably realized that, if he had went for surprise picks, it's not going to look good for him as well, right? Let's be honest, right? As a coach, I would imagine that you will have to go for your stalwarts, your experienced players, to show like, a bit of respect also lah. Like, hey, okay, Hassan Sani, you've really done well. If Safuwan was, if not injured and he has some issues off the field, if he was, definitely he would be picked in this squad as well. Unfortunately, but he's not, right? And Haris Harun, and all these experienced players, Shadan and whatnot. I think that it's like a neither here nor there kind of thing. Like what Sal is saying, what is the expectation? Do we want to win? Do we want to groom the youngsters? It seems like neither here nor there. And if we don't qualify, I think it's a big failure. And like what Zach said earlier on, we are not saying we as fans, right? We are not criticizing Singapore in terms of the talent pool. I think we are more of like what Sal is trying to say. We have to set the expectations. Are we here to grow as a nation, or are we here to try and get a result here? Because it seems like we're trying to get a result, but so far what we have been showing on the pitch has been far from what has been really, really far from what we deserve on the pitch lah, Singapore, our quality lah. But that's my thoughts. I've been going on quite a while. Maybe anything you guys want to counter, with what I'm trying to say here, or anything you want to add on, please go ahead. Anything, Zach, Sal? Nothing.
I think just that Singapore after this Suzuki Cup, you have to note that a lot of the players are already reaching their mid-30s. Even my favorite player, Shawal Anwar, is already 32. So
okay, so sorry to interrupt you. So let's talk about the players, right? So it's Haris Harun, Hassan Sani. Okay, goalkeepers, I guess you can play a bit. He's going to be what, 30? Let's see. Yeah, let me check. Hassan Sani.
I think he's now 38. He's not 38.
Yeah, so if he plays the next Mitsubishi, he'll be 40. With that being said, okay, so Ice Kill has just said congrats. So Ice Kill is in the chat. He's the guy that passed the jerseys. Big up to him. Thank you so much for passing the jerseys to grow the community. Thank you. We really do appreciate it. He said that he wants to give more as well. So I don't know. We will see how that goes, right? But big up. These are all like brand new jerseys with text. So we really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. So let's go through the players. So Hassan Sani, Haris Harun, right? Shadan Sulaiman, Shawa Anwar, like what? Yeah, Shawa Anwar. Emireka. Emireka, who else?
Actually, Song is already 30. Song is 29 this year, so he'll be 31
Yeah.
next one. And then Faris
So,
Ramli, it will be about 34, 35.
yeah, so you see, so many aging players, my God, and the youngs. When I did the preview for the AFF Mitsubishi Cup, right? I was looking at the young guns. I call it the young guns, right? Our young guns, Joshua Price, really like 25, right? Ilhan is the youngest of, he's the bright spot. Like you got Farhan, you've got Hami Shahin, right? And you've got Shah Shahiran, right? Which, to be honest, right, like what Sal is saying, the players that we just named, right, Hassan Sani, Haris Harun, all these players, right, it's not in the young players that we brought. It's not even enough to cover the older experienced players that's going to leave in the retire potentially. So it looks a bit I would say scary for us in the future. And we have to see how we can cope with that, lah. Like we whether we can get rely on the new pool of talent in the future, right? With that being said, I think this we went through about this topic quite a while, which is a very good topic. I think we will have to say that this applies more pressure for the Singapore national team to do well, to qualify. I think if we qualify out of the group, right, I think that's a success to me. What do you guys think? Even if we get hammered at the semi-finals, I think qualifying out of the group is already a big success for me. What do you guys think? Maybe Zach, what are your thoughts?
Personally, I'm a very like process-oriented person. Sometimes I know results are important at the end of the day. Of course, it's football. We need results. But I also would be concerned at the manner in which we get results. Like imagine, let's say we get smashed by Vietnam. Get smashed by Vietnam. Then Malaysia somehow we get better all game. We get better all game. We nick one goal. Is that really success? Like maybe like to me that's just like luck. That's just variance. That's like, of course there's grit, there's the determination with what I see. But at the same time, from a major perspective, it's quite damning. Like the players are barely holding on, and we nick one. Like to me, that's not really progress. I know. Okay, yes, maybe we can get the next round. Let's say somehow Indonesia finished up. We get Indonesia, and still we made a final. It really depends on. To me, it really depends on how we play and so on. Because that's the way to bring Singapore football forward. The issue is that the players are not technically good enough, not technically and tactically good enough to bring our play to the next level. And I think this is the case for a lot of AFF teams also. That's not only just applicable to us, it's applicable to Malaysia, Indonesia for the matter. So the issue is that we need to see progression, and the progression should be seen. For example, let's say Indonesia, you see their attackers, they have been progressing as a team ever since their coach took over. They've made strides, like they qualified for the Asian Cup, that kind of thing. So that's progress to me. The football is better, the players get better, the players move overseas, for that kind of thing. So to me, that's progress. So results alone could be very shallow, because this, like I say, this is the last dance for a lot of our senior players. So like if we get hammered by Thailand, it's very hollow progress, in my personal opinion. If we get to the next round. Yeah.
Fair. Okay, like I think so to Zach's point, I think you're saying that we have to look at the benchmark, like what you say, what are the like results in this cup is not really going to mean too much in terms of our future outlook in Singapore football. We should be looking at like players, our local players going overseas to get more experience, to play in a better league, and then to grow as players as well. Like your Raihan Stewart, the Irfan, the three brothers, right? The Fandi brothers. Who else am I missing in the foreign leagues right now? That's pretty much it, if I'm not wrong.
Much it. Yeah.
Safuan, do you say?
Safuan, you can consider him, yeah. So yeah, I think will you? I don't know. Do you guys see? Okay, so maybe this segues. Sel, do you have anything to say about that question before I segue to the next point?
Actually, for me, I won't be surprised if Singapore was eliminated. But then, right, I mean, I don't know about this, but I mean, Singaporeans, our mindset is all about winning. Must get trophy. I don't know why we are having such mentality in our country right now. I mean, for me, if we go out of this Suzuki Cup, so what? I mean, at least we can at least develop. But we can actually take an example for Malaysia for this competition. Malaysia actually, right, their first team, they have the same issue as Singapore also. Most of their players are in their 30s. But then, right, the difference is they have a coach in Kim Panggon. He personally went into depth in the Malaysian league, getting players from Selangor, Melaka, Negeri Sembilan, and putting up a young team to compete in this AFF Cup. I mean, at least he has the balls to do it. Why not us? But as I said, in the league, in our youth system, we do not have internationally ready players to replace our senior players. That's all, because our national pool is very little. There was one time I count how many national players who can play for Singapore. Only 192 players. That's it. Malaysia has 8 times more than that.
Yep.
You can't say
So
for
like
other teams, man. Yeah.
Yep. So I think to Sal's point, right, that sums up to me that what sums it all up, right? Like the expectations, why Singaporeans were always like the mentality, oh, we must win, we lose, we are failures, we are hopeless, that's the mentality in the Singapore mindset, right? And all this, like what you say, like the talent pool and whatnot. The problem is our society. I think Singapore's population, the league, how we are still progressing as a league. That's the problem. I think most Southeast Asian countries, right, especially your Thailand, your Vietnams and all, their leagues are getting way competitive and the money is getting pumped in, right? So that's why you see the growth in those aspects. It's been like years in coming. That's why you can see they are in this state right now. I think Singapore right now, we are growing, right? We are definitely growing, but as of right now, like what to a Sal's point, right? The current numbers is not a healthy crop. Out of 192 players, right? It's basically, right, football, or not even football, just generally in life. When you want to pick like your best, so your best 20 players or best 20 personnel, right? You definitely want a bigger pool of candidates so you can, rally, and then there's also competition and whatnot, right? If you're like what Sal said, if you got 1,000 players to pick from Malaysia, I think you're going to 192 players from Singapore. What? I mean, let's be honest, you're going to get more talent from the Malaysian side just out of sheer numbers, right? I mean, is it very fair to say that? And Singapore, our society is very poor. If you don't watch local football, it's always, we put in money for our sports. We want to win. But they don't understand the complexity, and they don't understand this part of Singapore football. There's also many things that plays into part. And Singapore Premier League, as much as say we are growing, but there's also, there's always like we take one step forward, then we are 2 steps back. We take one step forward, we are 2 steps back. It's quite frustrating to see, but it is what it is to me. We are growing.
It's not about 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It's your expectations. If I were the CEO of the league, I would still, put in, like how many youth players you have. Like Albirex, why don't they turn to a local team? Like, add in more teams. I mean, why do we stay with 8? And why are we bringing back Brunei DPMM where they don't contribute to our bloody
to any local?
Yes, that's why. So for me, you have to play more players. I mean, in the beginning, we started off with 25 players for each team. Now we extend to 30, which is good because, we need more talents into the local team. And of course, like another thing is, I mean, more Singaporeans right now, I can see that more people are turning up into a local football. Our crowds have been healthier, since after the COVID break. But then, right, one thing is we need to manage our expectations. We can't expect our teams, right, to be like EPL or Barcelona or Real Madrid. This is the problem with a lot of Singaporeans. They like Real Madrid, Barcelona, too much influence on this European football, and then they bring to Singapore football. Cannot make it lah, or Singapore football. This is the poor mentality of Singaporeans right now.
You that the whole rant that you went on, that is no false words were said in that statement. But anyway, Zach, any thoughts about this?
Yeah, I'm pretty much aligned with that. But that's it. I think we'll see something special with Albrecht. Maybe maybe the year after we'll see something special
Mm.
with Albirex. Yeah. So that could
Well,
help
Hassan
increase
Sani,
our
Correct. Hassan Sani did in the Rated R podcast. They did address. They asked Hassan Sani like, is Albirex going to be more localized? And then they said that he's Hassan Sani is like the leader of like trying to bring in more local players into Albirex. So I don't know. It could be a movement there. It's definitely small steps to the right direction, right? But like what Sel is saying, we just need more teams, more a wider pool of players for the young players to have a showcase. Or as much as sometimes I also shit on the Young Lions, right? I think the Young Lions project is also good for the NS system, right? Yeah, even though they get hammered 9-1, 7-0, 4-0, I made a point before that it's quite demoralizing. It may take a mental toll onto the young players. However, it's still a platform for the young players to play during national service, right? Which is better than national service. Like unfortunately, like Joshua Pereira, when he was injured, he said in the reta, I asked him also, he says he's in camp, he's not even playing football for the 2 years, right? So it takes a toll. Coming back, it took time for him to adjust. And the Young Lions probably gives a very good platform for the young players to play some football, at least when they are serving their national service, which I gotta give, as much as I don't want the Young Lions to get hammered all the time, but it's still a good initiative in my opinion. So before I go on to let's address some questions first, right? So Joshua so I will address the questions that are not really the topic points, right? The talking points we will address it as a panel together. Okay, so all right, so Ice Skill said that you're a great, Sel. Your collection is the best, much better than mine. Of course, Sel's collection is, I think, the best in Singapore. I can safely say that. I'm Ali going to play in MSL. Yeah, I think that's the rumor going around. PP Spartan said, is the goal difference crew will be heading down this Friday? Yes, we'll be heading down. Sel will be heading as part of the Singer Brigade. Zach, you won't be there, right, Zach?
I think I might be there. I'll see how. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Zach may potentially be there. We can watch out for the vlogs. Joshua and I, the co-host of Goal Difference, Joshua and myself, we will be there. So we will be doing a vlog. If I'll be early, I may do my rounds. Maybe I'll go out of the gallery side. I'll go and maybe interview Sel. I can go talk to Merv. I can talk to the Singer Brigade. Maybe I'll go to the grandstand side, try and interview more people. I think this Friday's atmosphere is going to be good. So we will see how that goes. But thank you so much for the comment, PP's button. Okay, this is a panel question. Let's see. I believe current defense are not good enough compared to okay, so this is a statement. All right. So I believe current defense are not good enough. You want to compare them to the old batch of players like Bahaki. They are way off in terms of level. Fair. I think that's a very fair statement. Sel speaking facts. I think that's not your rant. And he agrees with you. I think most of us can agree with you, right? That it's the expectations, right? Singaporeans mentality. We cannot expect a Premier League kind of expectations in the Singapore English Premier League for Singapore Premier League, right? No way. Should start doing promotion relegation system. Okay, we can talk about that also. Many years ago, Thai players such as become sort of Asian players. Okay, so Get Stuck In is here. Thank you so much, Go Singapore. Just a fun fact, Get Stuck In, they are all in London. They've a good friend of mine, and we've always support each other's channels. And they, great that you can tune in for this little while, right? Cheers. Love the Singapore community. Cheers, mate. Really do appreciate it. At least this is a good compliment to us, right? This community that we're building. The people in the chat you're watching, Sel, Zach, Marcus, the people in the chat. This goes to show this is legitimately international people saying that our community is good. So it's big up to us. Hopefully you can grow a bit in numbers, and then we can always talk about football here and there. I want this platform for us to talk about football, right? A free platform for us. All right. So let's go on to the panel questions, right? Let's start off with co-host Joshua. Right? He said, curious on the panel thoughts why the coach like to play CM Haris and Anu at centre back and wingers Hafiz Noor, Sivic at wing back. Even Nazrul was a winger previously. Are defenders not good enough? Okay, that's a very fair question. I think it's just to me, I'll start it off. I think it's just a matter of the lack of, I think like what Sel's point is going to be brought up quite often, but I think it's just the lack of talent in the certain positions. I think that's why Nishigaya has to rotate players into this kind of positions, right? Haris Harun has been playing centre back am I right to say in JDT was he still playing centre back already, or was he still playing centre mid at JDT?
He was actually started off as a DM, but then because of few injuries, he played centre back. He did very well, and that's why he stuck. Yeah, he stuck with that position until now. And you can see that as he get older, his speed is already decreased by a lot.
Yeah, deteriorated for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. I think Zach also has always told me. I always have this friendly debate with Zach. I always tickle him. I say, Harisaru should play center mid. Then Zach's like, no, we cannot have Harisaru as our center mid anymore. I believe he still can do it. I do believe so, but Sel and Zach has always said that his speed has really deteriorated, and then if he plays as center mid, he will be exposed, right? Potentially be very very exposed, right? I think Anu is to Joshua's point, right? To me, before I pass to Zach and Sel the time, I think Anu as centre back is the one that is very puzzling to me. I know Anu is not really the best player on the ball, but I believe, like to Sel's point earlier on the stream, I think as a destroyer, that's what he is. He's a destroyer at the end of the day, right? As a defensive mid, and me as a football fan in general, I always love the centre defensive mid role, right? I always love your destroyers in the game, and I think Anu fits that role perfectly. As a centre back, as kind of like a last line of defense, I don't really agree because I think he gets exposed quite a bit, right? So this one I think I will call out. Maybe Anu as centre back is not really the right option in the future also. With that being said, there are my thoughts. Maybe I'll pass the time to Sel. What do you think of this question? Why do you think about this rotation of positions for the players?
Okay, first thing I would like to say, right, if you see our local SPL teams, right, you see the defense. Tampines, very young defense. Young Lions, no need to say. Hougang, let me not start on that. And also, you can see Lion City Sailors. You see, they are basically playing the national team. Except, at times you see Amirul Adli as centre back, which he already plays. And you can see, basically the Singapore team are playing in LCS. Basically, we already say that this guy will start in the Singapore team at the same position. So for me, we don't have enough defenders in the SPL. And why we are playing people like Haris and Anu at the back? Because they already been tried and tested and they can play there. But for me, are you playing to the strengths? I don't think so. For me, Anu is one example why, it's one example. It's one how say he's something like, because our football has been concentrating more on possession play, start from the back. And if you can see that Anu is more of a destroyer, he's more like a Yaya Toure than someone who is like, someone who's like Kevin De Bruyne. So for me, he's more of a destroyer, and you should use his strength. But the problem is, in the Singapore football perspective, we are always say, please play like Barcelona. We play possession play, pass. To me, it's boring. Please stop playing like that. Singapore football has always been wings, wing back, attack together, cross the ball, hoping for the striker to hit the ball. That's it. Singapore football is very simple. And it's not only Singapore football. Malaysia is playing the same thing. Vietnam is playing the same thing. Thailand is playing the same thing. The only problem is because we have been saying, possession football is the way to success. No, you need to see your players and their strength. Play to their strength and not play to what you think should work.
Yeah, Sel, I think you are. I think next time, right, if you ever want to coach, right, I will be you put me as your reference. Right, I'll fight to the death for you, bro. I think that's very true. Sometimes you listen to what but I said earlier, right? Modern football is adapting to like more three at the back and whatnot. Yeah, we can try and go towards that direction, but it's one thing to grow and try and experience this formation and to transition slowly to that play. But how long is that transition going to be, right? By the time we transition, right, let's just say a young player like Farhan, right, maybe now he's learning the 3-5-2 system. He learned, right? By the time he's 30, right, we still don't progress anywhere, right? Then we're like, why don't we just go back to what we has been tried and tested, like what you're saying, Sel, right? We try to play possession football, and if our standards are not there, why even bother? Let's play with our strengths. Maybe you can say it's a bit one-dimensional. Maybe you can say we're not progressing in terms of how we play football, but at the end of the day, we're still getting the results, and we are playing to our strengths, like what Sel is saying, right? Zach, what are your thoughts about Joshua's question here?
Okay, I don't 100% agree with everything said, because okay, especially in modern football, like of course, especially in big tournaments, you can say we don't have the ball, we can counter, we can sit back, set piece. It's not a rather case of rather possession football, but rather that we still need to have some possession of the ball, in the sense that, for example, let's say a good example with Brentford in the Premier League, for example. Brentford play very direct, yes, but how they play direct is also important. Because like for example, let's say they'll play, let's say for example, let's say they play like 5-3-2, 5-3-2. I know that they have played a bit of 4-3-3 this year. So it's like, for example, one of their common attacking movements is the side centre back plays it to the wing back. The wing back immediately sends it first time for Ivan Toney to run onto. So my point is that we can play direct, but the thing is that we need to able to hold the ball sometimes in some key positions. Let's say in the danger zones. For example, let's say we're putting pressure. You want to send 5 crosses in, can. But the thing is we must be able to recover, counter press, win the ball back, then hold the ball maybe a while, get the balls into slightly better position, and then cross the ball. We can play direct. That's not an issue. I think a lot of it's a lot of people think it's a false dichotomy. It's either we play Barcelona, that's one end of football, or the other end, we're gonna play Jose Mourinho, we're gonna play counter attack. It's not football is not like that. It's a balance. It's about
like
how much
balance.
It's a very delicate balance and how you want to play and so on. So the thing is that even the weakest team, right, we must be able to play with some of the ball, in some certain circumstances, that kind of thing. That's how you play and advance in modern football. It's no longer just defend, pray. That is not going to work in modern football. Even like you watch, let's say, World Cup, Saudi Arabia, they defend. But at the same time, they are also fairly resourceful with the ball. They can, Argentina a bit fluky, they shoot from outside. But even you go look at the other line stats, like XG, I think it was against Poland and Mexico. They play decently, especially for an Asian team, So my point is that we still want to be able to hold the ball a little bit, in certain areas, in circumstances. So that's where the technical ability that we need. That's the technical ability that we need. Because the problem is sometimes we watch, shit, you can't even hold the ball. That's very jialat, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Zach,
going back,
I wholeheartedly agree with you. Yeah, I think this is also a very good counter argument to what Sal and I are saying, right? I think that you are absolutely right. Modern football is turning towards that direction. I can understand why managers are going that direction, but you also kind of answer the question for what Sal and I are saying, right? The technical ability is not there, right? We need technical. We need the technical players. We need like players like Song, right? Actually, a player like Song, right? If you have 3 songs, right, like a Kyogo Nakamura, a Song in the center defensive mid that can, they are not really a destroyer like Anu, but they can get the ball like a. Sorry, because I'm an Arsenal fan, I have to bring this up. Like a Santi Cazorla, something of sorts, right? Where he's more of like a player that can hold, like the ball is glued to his feet, right? You just need, like what Zach is saying, you just need him to hold a bit of possession, get the ball formation set, and then we can build a play up. Unfortunately, Singapore does not have that, right? We have Anu, who's a bit more of like a destroyer. When he get the ball, you can see he kind of not say panics. He just sprays the ball up. Has not kind of rhythm going to his game. Sharan Sulaiman, he's getting a bit old, but he's more of like a direct, like what Zach is saying, more of a direct goal getter. A pass assister, right? And there's not really much of a player that is technically sound to hold the ball for us, unfortunately, now in the current landscape. Maybe we can definitely build towards it. I think Tampines is the greatest platform. As a Geylang fan, I'm a bit jealous. Tampines has a great young core building right there in the midfield. So maybe in the future, if Gavin Lee can build Joel Chu, what's the Ong Yuan, right? Ong Yuan as well. We can build that center mid partnership and build a bit more technical ability in the midfield. That's my personal opinion. Technical ability wise, do you guys see any players in the Premier League, Singapore Premier League that can? Wait, let me ask you this question. Kyoga Nakamura. I don't know whether he's very close to getting neutralized or not. I don't think so. Do you think that he will be a difference maker in this Singapore lineup today? If he can play for the Vietnam game this Friday, do you think he's a big difference maker, or do you think he's part of the he's good player, but he's still going to be lost in the shuffle in this Singapore lineup? Maybe I'll pass it to Sel. What are your thoughts?
Honestly speaking, right, to me, Kyoga Nakamura and Zufami Arifin is similar in their play.
Similar players.
Kyoga is more mobile. He can run, he can pass around the ball. Zufami's strength is all on his passing, because to me his accuracy of passing is very tip-top. So for me, both of them are quite similar players, except for Kyoga, they can dribble around. But if you put Kyoga there, how he can complement with the midfield and the striker of the teams? Because to me, direct football for Singapore still works passing around. Maybe his passing will be better. he can run around, he can cover a lot of the midfield. Maybe he can be something like let me see, who's similar to, he can be like the Luka Modric of Singapore, but can people compliment his skills? I mean,
I see where you're
maybe
coming from.
now,
Yeah, I see where
maybe
you're coming
now,
from. Yeah.
but then in 5 years to come, when he got naturalized, who can we replace? And right now, the clock is ticking.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Before I pass the time to Zach, I think great points there. And like what you say, he's brought like Zufami and him actually, now that you mentioned it, I think they are quite similar. And because Kyoga is more of a box to box, which I think he will fit nicely in this team because that's what we are lacking, more of a box to box. Zufami is a great passer of the ball, but sometimes he's lacking in terms of his agility and his pace, right? So maybe Kyoga can help that kind of pacing issues that we have in our lineup. But with that being said, once he gets neutralized, he gets older, then he's going to become a Zufami as well in the future, right? His pace is going to get less in the future, and then it's going to be not much of a box to box for us in the future. Zach, do you think that Kyoga can give us more dimensions in our Singapore lineup today, if he can play?
For me, there's a no question. Like if given the current state of Singapore, I feel that he's a must starter. Because also, let's not forget, Kyoga, okay, number one, Kyoga is it has been quite versatile, especially the last few years under Gavin. Because like under Alburex, when he first came back, he played high up the pitch, he played as an 8 or 10, that kind of thing. So the thing is that he gotten used to that. But at the same time, also when he went to Tampines, especially like 2021, all the defensive issues and so on and so forth, he actually played much deeper. Actually, he played as a 6, actually 6. So that means right in front of the defense, spraying the ball. So that means I'm pretty sure has developed the defensive side of his game. So my opinion is that he's very versatile. Let's say you want to play a box to box beside him. Let's say you want to play Shashayan beside him, it will be fine. If you want to play a more like deep line playmaker, let's say Shara or Zufami, he's also fine. Yeah, and also I want to make a small distinction. Actually, there's a small distinction I feel in between Kyoga and Zufami. Okay, Zufami is more of a deep lying playmaker. He's not so press resistant. You press him, shit, he cannot get the ball, he cannot dribble as well, and he's not so mobile. But he may be a little bit better defensively than Kyoga. But Kyoga is like what was mentioned previously. Yeah, he's more of the Luka, he's more agile, get on the ball. So the thing is that in my opinion, is that even if when he ages, he'll still be because he's not naturally like athletic, like he can sprint like Erling Haaland across the pitch, that kind of quick player. But in my opinion, if he takes care of himself, well, actually he can play very late into his 30s, in my opinion, because his game is about quick change of direction, footwork, that kind of thing. Maybe when he gets older, yeah, he'll play less minutes. Maybe he'll play 30, 40 minutes, 60 minutes, But if he ever gets natural, I'll be very, very excited. Because I think he will be a mainstay in the national team for a very, very long while.
I think, and so more, if let's just say the assumption is that he gets neutralized, whether is it 1 year, 2 years, maybe in the long term, it's also good because I think like Song as well, like both of them will go through a similar timeline where they will just get into the national team. They'll get a bit older, but when they come in at their old experience, they are very experienced in the Singapore Premier League, and then getting neutralized, they will be very proud to play for Singapore. I'm sure. I'm assuming so lah, because they've been spending their careers and their lives in Singapore, and it's good mentorship for the younger players as well. I'm sure Song right now gives a lot of mentorship and a lot of advice to the younger players, right? The attacking players as well. So maybe like what Zach and Sel is saying, maybe as the years goes on, he can definitely give that kind of leadership that maybe a Haris Harun kind of leadership that we may definitely lack in the future. Right. So this segues me to another good question, right? Who do you think is our next Singapore captain? Other than maybe let's just say Haris Harun retires after this Mitsubishi Cup. Who do you see our next captain going to be? Let's not count Hassan Sani. So excluding Hassan Sani, and if Haris Harun retires, who is our next Singapore captain? Maybe I'll pass it to Sel this time. Yeah, Sel, who are your thoughts for candidates for captain?
For me, 100% Iksan Fandi. You need to have a popular player and someone with footballing brains and someone who has the
Irfan? Either those two?
I mean, either these two. I mean, for me, it should be a Fandi. Yeah, one thing is we all know that they are the better players at their age, and I don't think that they have already picked yet. And I think in the future maybe Irfan or Iksan either these two might lead the Singapore team. Yeah, I think if Haris retires internationally like tomorrow or at the end of this competition, you should give to one of the fundis.
Fair. I think that's a very fair. Morale wise, and also it's a good story to write about, and I think it will get the nation rallied around the because the fundies as well. The three of them, and maybe even the youngest one also coming up in the ranks. Right, maybe he'll play for the national team. Zach, your thoughts? Who should be our next captain?
I think okay. If let's say for example Haris retires tomorrow, that kind of thing. Assuming okay, my pick personally, assuming Safwan is back and around and so on, my pick would be Safwan because he's experienced and so on. But diverging slightly from the issue, I personally feel that the captaincy sometimes is a bit arbitrary, like it's just an armband and so on. I feel that it's more of the players how they step up and so on. Because you need not need to be captain of a team, but you can lead the team in your own ways, that kind of thing. That's how leadership works. It's not like the captain is not on the pitch, the team cannot function. So to me, the captaincy is a bit arbitrary. Like whoever gets it's just whether the team can pull and support the captain and make sure the other leaders on the pitch. So to me, it's not very important who gets the captaincy. But if I personally were to pick, but I also not privy to all the dressing dynamics. If Safwan, I will pick Safwan because of his experience. Yeah.
Fair, Safwan. I think especially if he comes back, he's missing for the national team for quite a while. He comes back, I think he can be a kind of like a leadership role that is a new, fresh face for the younger crowd, right? For the younger players to come to rely on, right? So there's a comment here from Jacob KK. He said, "I'm not trolling, by the way. Shakir Hamza has the most experience and will be ready to stand up for the team." Oh, that's a hot take. I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong, right? He's the most
experienced. Yes, but he's a hot-tempered person.
Yeah. I think if you watch the Myanmar game, as a captain, right? So I'm going to bring up this thought. I'm sure you guys will Sal and Zell will echo my sentiments here. Myanmar game, Shah Shahirian side. I mean, Zach was watching the game beside me. Right? Shah Shahirian slid quite a late tackle. One of the Myanmar players wasn't happy. He grabbed Shah by the neck, which is of course not condoned, right? You got Shakir Hamza, which, he's standing up for his fellow brother. Nothing wrong with that, right? But if you were a captain doing that, you're just going to set. Even Haris Harun had to pull Shakir Hamza and push him away and say, probably to F off. Get your hands off. We need to not lose this game, right? Yes, you can stand up for your brother. That's one thing.
Maintain a bit.
Yeah, maintain, bro. Maintain. Maintain.
You remember the SPL game?
Yeah.
You remember the SPL game where not SPL actually, the Singapore Cup game when Tanjung Pagar played Hougang and Pedro got sent off? Do you know that he chased the whole pitch? And it was very hilarious. Even the Tanjung Pagar players were laughing at him. How can he jump to the pitch? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, experience is one thing, right? Like playing, like being most capped as your player is one thing. But then if you have a tendency to do these kind of things, it's like what Sal's saying. It's not a good leader that you want to portray to your fellow teammates, especially, all this, like what Zach is saying, is arbitrary. You as a, even you're not a captain, you must lead in your own ways. I wholeheartedly agree with that. But as a captain with the armband on, it signifies that you are like the leader or the man that's rallying the troops, right? And if you do this kind of like childish and let's just say not so mature things on the pitch, it just doesn't look good as a whole, So I agree with your point. Jay, sorry, man. Can you next time change your name, Tion? I know I have to keep calling you. I'm going to call you Mr. KK, right? So Mr. KK, he's experienced, but his off the field antics is may not encourage a captaincy role for the Singapore national team. Thanks for your comment, though. By the way, let's see, Roy.
I remember correctly. If I remember correctly, I think Shakir Hamza was also the guy that I think last time in Lions 12, right? He went AWOL, right? If I remember correctly, Shakir Hamza was the guy that went AWOL. During the Lions 12 game in Malaysia, then if I remember correctly, Shakir Hamza was also the guy that went AWOL. Yeah. So it's definitely the quality, just temperament lah. So I also don't. It's sometimes you're born with it. Your temperament. It's hard to change lah. So
yeah.
He's what
I mean,
he's a good player.
Zach, Zach, I see some comments here about the captaincy, right? Roy Keane, all these kind of examples. Sometimes a captain also has to be a hothead. Yes, it has times, but I think what we are trying to allude to, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but a hothead that is a leader on the pitch, but who knows how to be a hothead when it's time for and when it's time to hold back and be a leader of men. I think sometimes Shakir Hamza has that moment where he's really hot-headed to a sense where sometimes it leads to very silly, like what Sal alluded to about this SG Cup, right? He chased Pedro off it's sometimes a bit funny. If he was the captain doing that, I tell you, it's just going to be hilarious. The whole media is going to go get on his tail, and it looks pretty bad. But another name, Yasser Hanapi, another feisty captain. You remember the finale, right? When the Noor Alam Shah and the Tanjung Pagar, the coaching team, they didn't want to get off the pitch because they were waiting for Yasser Hanapi to get off the pitch. All these kind of antics going on. You mean as a fan, I love to see it, but maybe as your captain, it's not really good as the vibes lah, the vibes. Yeah. So that's a good question. So, Sal is saying give one of the Fandi brothers the captaincy. I agree, Sal. I think definitely. I think Irfan, like what the chat is alluding to, I think Irfan has already been kind of like the I think they're modeling him to be the next captain, Irfan. But Iksan is also a good shout. I think because if Iksan continues the rate he's performing for the national team, right, he's going to be our most successful striker. I would say that, right? So it's good to see that.
I can say, right, Iksan is actually our Haaland, actually, because the way he's on the ball, he's very good on the ball. The difference between him and the brother Ilhan is Ilhan has yet to develop the ball possession. Iksan is basically running with the ball where nobody can catch. You can see when he played in the World Cup qualifiers, big difference.
Iksan in the previous Suzuki Cup, that was his stamp to his authority on the national team, right? He was our playmaker, he was our goal scorer basically in the whole group stage, right? And he was the difference maker, Iksan, definitely. And yeah, I think it's good to see, man. I do hope that that when I talk to some fans, right, like Joshua, co-host and whatnot, there's some talks that Ilhan is the most talented of them all because he's at the trajectory that he's going, he could be the most talented of the three brothers, right? But Iksan right now is definitely the most talented in terms of, no offense to Irfan, right? Because Irfan is playing in a role where you have to be sturdy at the back, right? But Iksan is really the kind of X factor kind of player like Sal is alluding to. Really, I see him play, right? He's real, like he's got the stature. Also, don't forget, right? Sometimes as a Singapore player or like Southeast Asian player, you see the stature like who's a small player. I think Song, you can consider Song like quite a small player, right? He's a bit shorter, but sometimes your stature also doesn't really help you in those kind of advanced position. But Iksan as a striker, he's like 1.84 or something like that. He looks very commanding as a number 9 for us. Zach, do you have any thoughts about that, about Iksan?
I think I was okay. Like what you say, Ilhan being the most talented. In fact, I think there was an interview on YouTube that Fandi Ahmad named his sons which were best at what as well. In fact, he did say Ilhan was the most talented one, and I think technically that's true because Ilhan is a very technical player. He does the combined job. He's stylistically actually a different player in my opinion to Iksan more like get the ball, the traditional number 9, getting behind. That kind of so slightly different players in my opinion. So yeah, but if both have been available, this era it would be a very different story, right? Because Iksan will be up front and then Ilhan supporting, maybe Shah Anwar, the last attacker in the 3-4-3. That would have been pretty good in my opinion. But sadly we didn't get to see that, and Adam Sadi out too is also a very big loss. So what could have been?
Yeah, what could have been really what could have. Actually, wait, can I ask a question to both of you, right? Do you actually think that it would have been detrimental if Iksan and Ilhan was okay? Because this is definitely a hypothetical question because we did not get to see it. We only get to see it for 40 or 50 minutes in the Maldives game, unfortunately, right? For like 30 minutes, right? Do you think that Ilhan and Iksan playing would have been detrimental to more Ilhan? Because to be honest with you, right, I feel like if you play a 3-4-3 and Ilhan is the sacrificial, has to play on the wing, I don't think it will suit his gameplay very well. I think he's more of like a central, like a either more of a false nine, number 10, or even a nine up front, right? So maybe the two brothers playing up front like a 3-5-2. Do you think that? So my question basically to you all is, would you have thought that? To me, right, I think it would have been quite detrimental if we had played Ilhan and Iksan together. That's my personal opinion. What are your thoughts about the what I just said? Maybe I'll pass to Zach first. Zach, what do you think?
I honestly don't think it's detrimental because you see Ilhan and Albrecht, he played with a strike partner, right? Albrecht when usually he played with a strike partner, usually Kodai or Tanadari. So I don't think he necessarily will compete. Because I feel because they're slightly different profile. In fact, I think Ilhan might be actually my
Benefit.
it might suit his natural game better because the thing is that football you need balance, right? So Iksan will be the one making the runs in behind, occupying the center back, number 9 job, right? Then even though he's not a natural winger, but then like in a 3-4-3, like he'll be like the inside for you, come infield, that kind of thing, play 1-2s, that kind of thing. That is more natural to Ilhan's game. So it's very commendable. He has adapted so well. Let's say last time Young Lions, the lone striker up front, praying for service, whatever that comes. Then go to Albrecht. Albrecht also adapting his game to Albrecht's very, very direct gameplay, saying that Idetsu sending cross after cross, that kind of thing. So I think he's adaptable player, but in fact, I would think that Iksan and Ilan will actually be a very good combination.
Wow. Okay. That's a very, now you got me thinking, but that's a very good analysis. Sel, what do you think? Do you think that the two brothers up front, if we have seen them in this Mitsubishi Cup, do you think that they will complement each other?
They are tried and tested, man. I think they both will complement very well. I mean, both of them, and I think if they play, we should stick with 4-4-2. No questions asked. I mean, both of them are good in there. The only difference is Ilhan still has to pick yet because he's still in his early 20s. So we have not yet seen his best. But true enough, yes, I agree with Fandi that he's one of the most talented players out of his brothers because he picked earlier. He was more technical earlier. He can volley like nobody business. He's good in the air balls, while Iksan is not good on the air much, but Iksan is good on the ground. So both of them complement each other very well. Yeah.
Fair. And also, like, I also just realized that Ilhan is more like I said earlier on that he's more of a build-up kind of striker. He holds the play up very well. He waits for his teammates, the wingers, to come and complement him, right? So, if the two of them were playing together, Ilhan and Iksan, I think he would definitely Iksan, like what Zach is saying, right? He just runs at them, right? And then it opens up more space for Ilhan to operate. And then also even Shower Anwar on the wings, he can definitely have the pace to burn the opposition, right? All right, that's a very fair topic. Just to see some comments. We got a Malaysian here, if I would assume so. So yes, Nak, thank you so much for tuning. I think you're new here. Definitely just brotherhood. We are maybe rivals, but as off the pitch, we can be friendly and we can have some banter here and there within Singapore and Malaysia, right? But Singapore.
I love your food more.
Facts are facts. That's the facts, right? The facts of life. Okay, so let me go through this question. Song as captain could be a shout. Do you think kickoff? To be honest with you, he's only had about 8 caps on him. Like this is more towards Zach's point, like captaincy armband may be arbitrary to a certain extent, but putting a captain armband on a person like Song, no offense to Song, but it may rub people the wrong way. I don't know. That's just me. I as a Singaporean, it may rub people the wrong way.
He's not vocal enough. That's all I can say.
Okay, fair. Vocal problem. It could be vocally. It could be an issue. Zach, what are your thoughts?
And apart from that, like, what I'm thinking is that apart from could be upsetting the dressing room because maybe the dressing room say, "Yeah, here for 10,000 years," then suddenly give it the song. Of course, very unfair. Some may feel that. Apart from that, I think another important part also about communication. Song's English is okay, like you can communicate, but I'm not sure whether Song's Malay is particular because given the composition of national, a lot of them are Malay, so Song may not really speak Malay. So that could be an issue in communication, that kind of thing.
True.
Yeah. So the whoever is captain must be able to communicate well, especially both in English, let's say to the referee and so forth, and and with the bulk of the players which speak Malay, that kind of thing. So it actually would be, in fact, it could be also good in games, because sometimes the opponent, if they don't know what the hell you're talking about, that kind of thing. Like, I mean, you play suddenly also same thing, right? Like, it's like sometimes when I play, let's say I play an opponent team that has a lot of non-Chinese, I'll speak Chinese, like to say, hey, what we're gonna do, what we're gonna do. So the same thing applies.
True. So,
So
like, actually, both of you are also converging to the same thing. Sel is saying he's not vocal enough. What Zach is saying that because he's got some language barrier, so it's like a recipe for disaster, right? You already got language barrier, then you're not vocal enough. Then when people are looking at you for direction, you're just like, like, what do I do? So both of you complemented each other in that point right there. Well, okay, Joshua is saying, well, Odegaard just joined Arsenal when he was made captain. That's true, but
Odegaard is Norwegian captain also.
Yeah. So he's got experience, right? Yeah, he's got experience. Yeah. Fair. Okay, so I wanted to focus on actually. Okay, so let's talk about Joshua's other point, right? Long-term midfield will be Jacob, Shah, and Joel, with captain being Jacob or Shah. Okay. I wanted to ask you all, right? No, you don't think so? Okay, I want to ask you all another question. Do you think not picking Joel Chu? I don't know, Joel Chu, young, but I don't know whether he's fit also. But maybe we could have brought him on for some experience. What do you guys think, Joel Chu? Or Glenn Quay, even Glenn Quay as well. Both either or, Glenn Quay or Joel Chu. Yeah.
For me, Joel, Glenn, or Daniel Go, these three, right, can be tried, but like, you need to ask the coaches, what is the ultimate aim of the AFF Cup? Do they want to win? If they bring the current players right now, make sure they will win the AFF Cup. If they want to try around, mix around with new players and old players, maybe they can bring again. But I saw here Jacob as a midfield. No, Jacob is already sealed as a centre back for his whole life.
Yes,
that's all I can say.
Yeah, like he's grooming that way, huh? It's grooming that way already as a centre back. You're right. Yeah. It's going that direction, lah. But Joshua, off stream, and when we hang out, he's very big on Jacob Mahler. He believes that Jacob Mahler as centre mid is like the way to go. But like what Sal is saying, that he's groomed to be the next centre back, which is also fulfilling a need in Singapore's future game plan as well. Because maybe Irfan Fandi and Jacob in the future, as our future centre back partnership, we can possibly see that in the future. Zach, what are your thoughts about Joshua's comment here?
Okay, like what Sel said, it really depends on what is the aim of the Suzuki. And also for maybe you can bring some of these players like friendlies, try out, let's say Glenn Quay, Joel as friendlies, but it's also a matter of seeing whether they are still good enough. Because personally, Jacob, I think let's say he continues developing, whether he go overseas, stays local, he'll become one of our better centre backs, that kind of thing. Because Jacob Mahler is a really solid player when he plays. You see, sometimes he's holding together the young Lions defense. But I think it was last season, not last season, but right in 2021. I think he went to NS or something like that. He wasn't around for a long time. Then the young Lions look really, really shaky without him. I think midway through 2021.
He actually got ACL. He was injured half a season. Yep.
2021, he was injured?
Yep. He was
2021, he was injured. Okay, fine. So he I thought it was like BMT or whatever, that kind of thing. So so he was gone. Then the young Lions very, very, very shaky. So yeah, that's one thing. And another thing is also
so Joel is the kind of true. That proves Jacob's kind of impact he has on the team, which is what Sal is saying, right? Because he's really groomed to be the next Singapore centre back, right? And definitely it goes to show without him, young Lions really struggle, like what you guys are alluding to. Sorry, Zach, to interrupt you.
Yep. Yeah. So another thing, Joel Chu, personally, I feel that he sometimes needs to play with a little bit more intensity. I know he's a technical player, like Mabanovic, that kind of thing. Like it's more like technical, takes his own time. But I still feel that sometimes Joel Chu needs to play at a quicker intensity,
higher pace,
especially see the international level. Because as I said before, to represent a national team, you not only have to be good at SPL, you have to be solid and consistently solid at SPL. That kind of thing. It's like you see Shah Anwar, like as an Afghan fan, watching every week, he will beat the defender in and out, maybe score a goal. If he doesn't beat the defender or doesn't score, it's a bad week. That kind of thing. That's like the norm. That's the level that you need to be at, considering the level of SPL right now. So Joshua sometimes, okay, maybe he just finished NS, so he has time to run. Just sometimes he sticks out to me, and sometimes he plays beautiful passes, and so he's a very good tanker player. But sometimes I feel that he lacks the physical attributes in a sense, not physicality, but rather physical attributes. Like let's say the quick change of pace, the intensity he needs to play. I sometimes feel he might need to play a high intensity, especially considering the position that he plays. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we did earlier on say that we need more technical players, but I think Joel Chu can in the future be one of the technical players that we could depend on in the center of the park, right? To kind of stabilize and get the ball in our hands and make sure we don't lose possession. Because like what Sal has alluded to, we've watched Singapore football for a long time. We've never been a possession type of nation, like what Sal said, rightly so, right? So definitely in the future, like what Zach is alluding to, definitely modern football will promote this kind of, yes, we may not be the most possession heavy national team, but we do need to have a bit more technical players to hold the ball for us and build up the play for us, like a Ilhan, right? Ilhan is technical enough to hold the play up for us and make sure that that's what we need in the midfield as well to kind of dictate the pacing of the game. Right now, our midfield, I see. I also pictures. Every time I watch, like what's going on. So no offense to Zulfami, no offense to Shada, no offense to them. Right? It's just that we are not like what to Sal's point earlier on. We are just not thinking the right way in terms of how we want to play. It's not how our like playing to our strengths of our players. Right? Our midfield is really lost in translation, man. Shasha right? Like what Zach and I said we were talking offline at the vlog, right? Like you can see, right? He's trying his best to, because he's the youngster, right? He's the young gun, right? He's trying to, to play as a box to box, and you can see the effort he's putting in, but he's getting lost in translation because it's really like don't know what to do, bro. It's like Shadan is down there like trying to dictate the play for him, but then it's when Myanmar got the ball, right? Shadan is just running around, pressing, coming back. He's lost. He's really lost, And when Hami Shine came on, right, it gave a bit more balance to the midfield, which rightly so. Shadan got his deserved goal, right? That was a beautiful goal, but the keeper should have done way better there. I was so shocked it went in, sir, legitimately. When I saw the ball, I was like, wow, it's such a weak ball. And then next thing you know, the keeper parried it and then it went in. I'm just like, okay, we'll take that any day of the week, yeah? Yeah. So Ryan Saniza as well, it's up there for upcoming centre. Yeah, he's been called up for the... he wasn't called, right? He wasn't called up
He's the backup player.
He's the backup actually. Yeah.
He's the backup.
Yeah. So if someone gets COVID, so that's a good point. Another Tampines, right? He's is a great. Tampines really blowing up.
Irfan Najib, all I think is all for the future. Even Iman Hakim
Amirul
also, all
Haikal,
in the future. Yeah. So Tampines has a very good core, of the future Singapore players.
Yeah, I think it's good project that they're building there. And they got Boris Kopitovic still. They just re-signed him. I think today it was announced that they just re-signed him. So, wow, it's going to be a scary sight. But, okay, maybe now we've really spoken a lot about international football. Maybe the last, 30 minutes, we can talk about our teams, right? The new, let's just talk about some rumors coming in for Hougang. What are your thoughts about the upcoming season? So just by the way, Sal and Zach are Hougang fans, so maybe we can cater this last 20-30 minutes to more about Hougang, right? First of all, I just want to say, you guys, great win in the Singapore Cup, well deserved for Hougang. Their first silverware, right? As a Hougang United, as the club, it's the first silverware for them, well deserved. Great performance in the Singapore Cup, 3-2 victory for you all. And what are your thoughts about this upcoming season? Because so far, Hougang has been quite quiet with their signings, right? I think, have they confirmed? We know that Kiki is staying, right? For sure. Kiki's Krychek is staying. Who else? Zaiful is also rumored to go to Hougang. I think that's pretty much confirmed. Zaiful.
Wansha.
Wansha as well. Okay, so maybe let me ask you all, who is going to be the biggest departure? I know what Sal's answer already, but okay, maybe if we don't discount Shawar Anwar, right, who's other bigger departures that you guys will feel you will miss in the Hougang lineup? I'll give it to Sal first. Yeah, go ahead.
Because Fahan Zulkifli will be serving his national service next year. So I think when he serves national service, he will be loaned as a young Lions. And also, we also might be losing, who's the young keeper? Aizil.
Aizil.
He's also going to NS soon. But as you know, you can see that there's a lot of departures, in the Hougang squad, especially to Lion City Sailors. All the rumors are all going to Lion City Sailors, and some of our fringe players are going to Balestier and Gilang. But if I'm not wrong, they have already secured and scouted the players, and it might be a better team that we had last season.
Wow.
Even
Wow.
our centre back also. So we might be challenging Lion City Sailors for the best local team next year. And yeah, hopefully the if the rumors are correct, we already have settled all our back line.
That's good. That's good. I
Yeah.
mean, Hougang bad line is oh my god, you guys. Sometimes I feel like last year, Josh, you guys should have done way better. It's the back line that just keep the goal difference was minus 80 something for you all. It's like insane. What? I mean, of course,
Yeah.
Sailors had quite a big part to your goal difference because it was mostly blowouts against them but
You have to
Zach,
remember that we used 4 goalkeepers last year. We used all 4.
the rotation is real. The rotation is
Yeah.
real. So before I pass the time to Zach, right? This goes to show, right, as a Hougang fan last year, right? You went through so much, man. Leaky defense, 4 goalkeepers. My God, I bet you every week must have been not say a nightmare, must have been like wow, like full of up and downs in terms of feelings and like the adrenaline. I would mention. Anyway, Zach, what are your thoughts about the departures and even the incoming signings also for Hougang?
Yeah, like we sell. I actually didn't really like the 2022 squad because yes, it was very unbalanced in my opinion, very unbalanced. Certain key areas not filled. Even the foreigners, in my opinion, the foreigners were lacking in certain areas. Like Moritz, okay, he's very talented. He's one of the best players on the ball. But actually, his age and so on, that kind of thing,
Yeah.
he cannot press for 90 minutes, he cannot run for 90 minutes.
He gives
So
you
that
like a
was the
good 20
issue.
to 30 minutes. Yeah, he gives you just that, the good
Yeah.
30 to 20 minutes. Yeah.
But his
Yeah,
goals were
yes.
super, man.
Yeah. On the ball, one of the best players in the league. Off the ball, because of the position he's playing, we cannot always accommodate him and that kind of thing, especially
Yeah,
given the
I
other
agree.
players in the squad. Kaishu, personally, I feel that if he was not going to naturalize, personally, if he was never, apparently I heard he had never any intention when I shot. Personally, I feel that Alkan can get a much better foreigner, especially than him. Because I feel Kaishu sometimes is a bit limited in what he offers. I know he's a centre back, he's a DM, but I feel that if Alkan are really ambitious, especially with the squad, especially they cut a lot of fringe players. Maybe if you cut the salaries from the fringe players and supplement the team, we might have a better 11. Maybe yes, we lose that, but we might have a better 11. Kind of like what Geylang has been doing year after year, right? You know,
Yep.
right? Like Geylang, the first 11 is really looks quite good, quite solid for their budget.
No depth.
But then
No depth.
backers on the bench is like, only got these few senior players, then the rest is all the youngsters, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really think this will be a much better organization because the defense, without doubt, I know we have all been hearing who's leaving, who is rumored to be coming in. Yes, the defense is going to get a big
Yeah.
upgrade. But in front, I heard there's a lot of uncertainty. I know Kiki Kajak more or less has confirmed it.
He's confirmed.
Okay, he has not confirmed, but from what we have heard, that he's more or less staying. But apparently, I heard there's a lot of uncertainty, partially because of the new because not only the new season, when the new season is going to start, and also the new rules. Because apparently, from what I heard, FAS is still debating whether is it 3+1, 4+1, that kind of thing, regulatory thing. And number 2, also when is the new season going to start? Because next season may not be a regular season. Because
February.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're going
okay.
to start in
That's
February.
okay. That's what tentatively that's what February to start. But also the issue is also becomes that because we're trying to move, or at least because AFC Cup is already moving, or AFC Cup is already moving to a autumn to summer schedule, right? So like your EPL lah, is September to
Yeah.
August to May. So the thing is that if let's say if FAS decides we are going to move, so it's going to be a very weird timing. Either we're going to have a compressed season, maybe each team play each other twice, that's it, or we're going to have, or we might have a very late start to the season. So that's another thing that I think FAS themselves haven't even sorted out. Then because of that, Hougang we are not that rich. We are still they may not want to pay the foreigners for the first half of the year. You know, the kind of SPL
Yeah,
club
yeah.
nonsense, right? Yeah.
I think it's the instability in like I know like I think it's quite confirmed that February will be the starter, but it's still you cannot confirm this kind of thing. So I think the clubs are very hesitant to commit, right? That's what you're alluding to, right? It's like the commitment to see what kind of game squad that you're trying to build, what kind of money the squad what's the one I'm looking for? The how you want to balance out the paycheck. I think that's how how you want to balance the team out. But Hougang, if you guys can build on the momentum, whether who plays next year, I mean, I'm sure we have the names. We did want to say just for the sake of anonymity for the club, the respect for the club. Yeah, I think it's definitely a good sign because current defending SG Cup champions, I think you guys got good momentum going into next year. Like what Sal is saying, right? Could potentially challenge Sailors as like the most talented local side, with the names coming up. Me as a Geylang fan, I'm super stoked, man, from the names I'm hearing, man. The midfield, the striker. I know that today they confirmed the Singapore football fans confirmed the striker, the Yuzo Yamazaki or something like that. 22-year-old striker from J2. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that. And like to Zach's point, right, Geylang last year the depth was really the calamity it was the downfall for Geylang lah. You see, once one player like Huzaifa gets out injured, or JP has to cover every damn spot. Goalkeeper, centre back, centre mid, he has to cover every damn spot because there's no depth. But. Either ways, Andre Moritz is gonna retire. Is he gonna retire? I think he is, right? Andre Moritz, probably.
Andre Moritz is because he came out of retirement just to play for Hougang. Because he said that maybe he has still the touch, and because his wife is studying in Singapore, so basically he's not doing anything here. So might as well he do some work here.
Attempt football again. Yeah. That's fair. And he's still got a touch, man. He gives you a solid 30 minutes, right? But you see, when he comes on the pitch, right, he's like, especially when on the counter with Shawa Anwar's pace, right? You see last year, Andre Moritz knows how to play the ball at the good positions for the strikers to Amy Reka as well to get the balls into the right positions. Right? That's what a good center attacking mid does for you, right? They know, a good ball playing center attacking mid, even a deep line playmaker, you can say a number 6 or number 10. That's what they do for you. They know where to distribute the balls for your attackers to do the most damage, right? Like to Sal's point earlier on about the wings. Kiki, Krychek. I think Krychek was a huge, I think Krychek's play sometimes a bit underrated. To me, people don't really see, because when you think of foreigners, you think of your Lopez, your Lestians, your who else am I? Your Kopitovic, all these kind of players. But when you see Krychek, he's very quietly your like a Modric, like a centre mid that knows how to control the tempo of the game, who knows how to play well with Moritz as well. I think that's the most important thing. And also, Zufami and him, I think, is a good combination because Krychek gives you a bit more of the box-to-box presence. So I'm sure you guys must be really, really happy that Krychek has re-signed for you guys. What are your thoughts? Maybe I'll give it to Zach first. What are your thoughts about Krychek re-signing?
Yeah, I'm very stoked over him starting because after the SG Cup, there was a lot of rumors, right? Like he maybe want to try his hand overseas, that kind of thing. Because like he's not that young anymore. He doesn't have that much time in the prime of his career. So I did hear some rumors, and I wouldn't be surprised if he had moved, because KQ Krychek, right? He's a phenomenal technical player. He could play, let's say, in Thai League, maybe not say at the biggest few clubs, but a mid-table. He could be a foreigner in the mid-table Thai club. He wouldn't look out of place. And the second thing also, his importance to how Hougang play. Because of the nature of our team through the past. So the issue has been always that the connection between the defense and the attack. Because the attack was always like Pedro, Moritz, Amy, Shawa. So these are like, let's say those are the front, and then the players in front, and then there will be the players at the back. The issue, I think a lot of times we watch Hougang, the real issue is getting the ball from the back to the front. That's the issue, to connect the ball. Because Zufami, he can play a lot of long balls. He's a good passer, but the thing is, he's not very mobile to dribble, or no, he's very that kind of technical dribbler, that kind of thing, able to take on and connect the team. Kiki Kajak is that player that he's like Bernardo Silva for Man City. Like he's natural offensive player, but he can play deeper to link the team and so on. That's why I was quite tilted in the mid part of the season where Kiki Kajak was playing on the left wing. I was like, oh my god, Kiki should rather play on the left wing, play on the left wing. I was like, why are we wasting him on the left wing? That kind of thing. Because he's the link player that we need from back to front, which is what we need. Right? He's like for sailors themselves, sailors have Adam Sondi in midfield. When he doesn't play, then the team sometimes looks a bit lost up from front.
Yep.
So
Adam Sondi is actually like the glue for the sailors. Yep. You're right.
Yeah, so in the same thing, Kiki Kajak is the link between the front and the back because he also has defensive qualities. You see him chasing on the ball, he's sharp, that kind of. He's not like some attacker we play down there then like looks completely lost. So he's so important for the team. I'm really very happy he's staying. Yeah, on to Sel.
Fantastic. Sel, your thoughts? Krychek.
Okay, for me, right, actually Krychek last season, right, when he actually was struggling at the start because we were playing differently. We were playing possession football, which I really hate. It's not the Hougang way. And it stayed while Clement was still there. And I think Krychek was also struggling. He only got his first goal through the mid-season. And when the current coach Firdaus start to take over, I think he set the standard. We can still play from the back, but we play to everyone's strength. So Krychek, one thing is he can play anywhere, but he's the best at the center because number one thing is his link up play with the strikers are the best. Is the best. He can basically like either run towards the players and he can still nobody can tackle him, or he can give a good pass to Sahil or Pedro, and it will happen. So that's the reason, right, why we were so successful in the Singapore Cup is because we play to each other's strengths. And you can see that Moritz, he played a bit of part, but when he come in, you can see that his ball, his play. I think when he started off for the winning goal, it was through him. So he's a good ball distributor, yeah. But yes, I understand that he's a bit older and he's at the prime at the twinkle of at the twinkle of
twilight, yeah.
So basically, like everything went right in the Singapore Cup. After the Tanjung Pagar game, we were not the same team anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm not so sure, but hopefully, the incoming coach, we also haven't confirmed our coach yet. So hopefully the incoming coach, would continue the good work. If not, I also wouldn't mind if I was to continue, as a Hougang coach also. Because I think his role as a Singapore Cup, has been good. He really like, because I was criticizing, all the coaches during the regular season, and they really make me eat my words actually.
Yeah, fair. I wanted to ask you guys, like, today's viewership is really good, and you guys have been great sport. Maybe when the season starts to ramp up in February, right? Maybe in January we can do this like weekly, or like 3 per night kind of session. We just talk about football. I'm sure you can talk about like the rumors, the new players coming in, the new coach for Hougang. I can talk about Geylang, talk about Sailors and whatnot. I do have plans with Sailor Fan Talk to talk about Sailors. So maybe with Murph or any of the hosts, feel free to come down to the show. We can talk about football. It's really good platform. I really love that this platform is for you guys to just speak your mind. You have the community to hear your thoughts, and we can grow in numbers. All right. I just wanted to so the Hougang best keeper of the season, by the way, which position is Hougang lacking or to fill? Okay, maybe you can talk to Kel's point first before I ask you all the next question. What do you think the position from last year's play and last year's team? What do you think you guys need to improve? I think this is quite a fairly simple question to answer, but let's just address it. So maybe to Sel first.
Okay, the number one thing is we need to resolve the goalkeeping issue and also the defender issue. But if the rumors are true, we have already completed the signing of the defense and the goalkeeping also. And also, right, we might be getting a foreign defender also, center back.
Oh, okay. So that's one thing to look out for. And so goalkeeper and defender, there's the position to be lacking. And if it's true, it goes to show that Hougang is doing their due diligence, right? It's not like they're what, like closing one eye. It's like, no, we just build more attack, more midfield. If you know that the defense is leaky, go and get it sorted out, which is what Sal is saying, right? If it's true, it looks like it's going well for Hougang. Zach, any thoughts?
Yeah, I also heard the rumors, and I heard some confirmed, some who I heard who's leaving, who is Sona. So I think it'll be quite solid, and also in fact it could be an upgrade, overall upgrade. Clearly in the keeping department, whoever's coming in will be an upgrade after the uncertainty in we trying every single keeper. At this point, maybe we should ask one of the who's to get in the goal. I mean, at this rate.
None of us can do it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So the back four, I heard a lot of good things. Let's say Vestering also number one. He probably coming. He had injury, I think, near the tail end of the last season. So coming back will be pretty solid.
Yeah.
Uh,
Good cover.
the centre backs. Yeah, we definitely need one local centre back. The local centre back, I think will be quite solid. If Sailors is taking one and another one is leaving, the last guy is pretty solid. Then also right back, we also with
Our wing backs will be very
Hmm.
solid, I tell you.
yes.
It is
Oh.
very solid.
Spicy news.
Yeah.
All right. We love to see
I'll
it.
be
I think
Yeah.
I can feel the enthusiasm from Sal's voice. That means I can't wait to see who's Hougan's new signing. If it's true, of course, if it's true, yeah, if it's true.
But I would say the offensively, the biggest thing is need to replace Shawa Anwar. I have not.
Mm.
There's a very, very big hole. Very, very big hole we need to fill.
Oh,
Because
not
he's the
easy hole
class.
to cover. Not
Yeah.
easy hole to cover.
Two names being linked, and I
Yes.
think these two names will resolve that department. I mean, Shawal very hard to replace, but if this player can come to his old senses, and I think he will be a good.
Yeah, I think I also have the two same names in mind. But I heard one was linked with Rovers. I heard one was linked with Rovers, and another one.
No,
Personally, I feel
Geylang is one Geylang player,
yes.
and one
Yeah.
LCS player.
Yes, correct. I'm on the same track. But I feel personally, the Geylang player is not as good. I can
Yes.
feel. Yes.
Yeah.
But the left side, if it's confirmed,
Yes, correct. Yes.
I know who you guys are talking about, but yeah, I see where. Okay, fair. That's a very fair point.
I really hope he comes.
if he comes, damn.
The LCS player, yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I want to ask you all. This question. Yeah. Zach and I actually yesterday we were talking about this with the cafe football. We were watching Laos and Singapore, right? But I want to ask this question to Sal. All right. What are your thoughts about Pedro Botaluso? All right. Zach and I were talking about Pedro, right? And then Zach and I agreed that as a player, comparing the other foreigners, like in terms of striking department, right? We feel that Pedro is one of the weaker foreign strikers in the league. Do you disagree with that? Do you agree with that? Or do you think that it's unfair to critique him that way? Sal, what are your thoughts?
It's very unfair to critique him that way because I look at his change towards the end of the season. Basically, Pedro is a type of striker. You need to give him the ball. He works well with the ball. Without the ball, he can only he can only do a limited thing. But with the ball, he can do a lot of wonders. You can see his goals, in the Singapore Cup and also during the regular season. It comes out from nothing. Suddenly, he just shoot the ball, he went in. He's a very good. I mean, he's very good in in his last touch, and you need to know that he is the top scorer of Hougang last season with 18 goals.
Fair.
Yeah. So basically, right, a lot of people misconcept him because people tend to compare him Tomoyuki Doi, who is a different type of player. He creates his own chances. He can score from nowhere. Pedro, and he is also good. Without the ball. But with Pedro, you give him the ball, he can do a lot of wonders. So a lot of people, misconcept him. Even I also think that Pedro, during the start of season, he wasn't doing too well because there's no service towards him. But then when he start to get his service, towards the end of the season, he changed a lot. You can see in the AFC Cup also. When he got the ball, it's a different story already.
Fair. why we brought it up. I want to ask your opinion because I want to hear from a Hougang fan, another Hougang fan, what your thoughts about Pedro Bortoluso. As a neutral, as an outsider, I do see your points there. Like when he has the ball, he's more of a you need to deliver the ball to him lah, and then he can make wonders at his feet, right? But when he's quiet or when Haugan's not playing too well at the front, that's when he gets very, very quiet, which is maybe that's why people are tuning into those kind of performances, right? But like what you said, we cannot forget that he's the top scorer for Haugang. It's not like he was like 5 goals or 4 goals only, right? If he only scored 4 or 5 goals, then we can make an argument like, hey, what's up with Pedro, right? So that's a very fair assessment. But he's what? How old is he? He's like 26 or 27, right? He's still pretty.
1996, so he's 26.
Oh, that means my age,
And
26.
he has to remember that he played for Sao Paulo before.
Yep.
Yeah.
The main team, right? Sao Paulo. He played for the B team and then also for the main team as well, right? If I'm not wrong.
He played for both. Then after that, he went to Portugal.
Yeah. So it's the quality of the player lah with Pedro. But Hougang, it's good to see you guys are going to build on that momentum. I feel like you guys have held on to key pieces of the team and definitely can grow on that. All right. So with that being said, I think I'm gonna end. I think we're gonna. You guys want to talk more? I can go on, bro. If you want to talk about other things, we can go on. If not, we can call because
no topic to stop already.
Yeah, I definitely. So for the people who are still here, thank you so much for tuning in. And Sal, Zach, Marcus, and myself, we had a very good show today. Don't worry, this is not going to be the last time you're going to hear. It's not like a one-time off, then you're not going to hear Sal anymore. You're not going to hear Zach anymore. I'm going to plan for more of these kind of shows in the future. More like open discussions. I think it's been a very fun show, right? We give our talks. Sometimes I don't want it to be too structured. Earlier on, it was structured because we have Singapore to talk about. But as time went on, we went on more. We digressed more to more interesting topics, right? Like who is going to be our next captain? What does Singapore? Is it a success or failure? Hougang as a whole. Hope you guys enjoyed the topics. Sal, I appreciate Zach. I appreciate the time and effort from you guys. You guys are the knowledge, man, is insane. Truth be told, I started this page, to grow the community, but also to learn more about the local scene. You guys know more. You guys are more insightful than myself. So I'm really thankful that I can learn from you guys to understand, local football and also like Hougang in general, right? Kickoff Art, right? Kickoff Art is also a great friend on the show. He's, he always tunes in and, he's also said to you guys, very insightful stream, right? Co-host Joshua Consencio, not here, but he said, thank you, lads. Next time we can bring Joshua on. We can also have a good chat about football. As I say, I'm going to plan more of this on the future. Whether how often or not, we'll see. We'll see how often, because I think as the Singapore Premier League grows, Sal just now and Zach, just now you're hyping up the name for Hougang, right? I tell you, the optimism preseason and during the start of the season will be electric. I tell you. A lot of people are going to tune into this next year's season. I get, because the World Cup has just ended, right? I would say Mitsubishi Cup also, if we do well, I think it will trend nicely to a very good start of the Singapore Premier League. And with the new improved coverage of the Singapore Premier League, I think fans will be definitely tuning in more. Yeah. Wow, you see, look at the nice comments from you guys. Thanks, guys. Enjoy every minute of this. Thank you so much for tuning in, lads. We really appreciate it. Kel's thumbs up. Have been on the stream for the past 2 hours. No regrets. So, I'm just the facilitator here, right? This show was a success because of Sal, because of Zach, because of Marcus, and all you guys in the community. We really do appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to do the outro. Is there anything from you guys, Sal? Anything you want to say to the community? Anything you want to address? Please go ahead, Sal.
Just enjoy Singapore football and keep supporting, man. I mean, you can't compare them with the Europe, man. But without fans, right? Who else will support the SPL? It's only us. So that's the reason why I went back to the local football in 2010, because to me, I think Singapore needs more people to support. Don't think about who's going to win the whether Singapore is going to World Cup or Asian Cup. Just keep supporting your players. Eventually these things will come. I've been a Hougang fan since 2010. For 12 years, Hougang did not win anything. We came close in our first year, but when we won the we won the Singapore Cup, I can see my hools, even though they are very garang, very fierce, all of them cried. at that moment. You can see, right, Brendan, when the Hools, when Hougang won, how many Hools cried during that time. Even until now, no, I still when I watch the highlights, I still tear a bit. But it's moments like this, where things are very special. You can't keep asking for glory all the way. Glory, Hougang, Hools always believe, 3 points is a bonus. If we win trophy, more bonus, more feelings. So that's the special thing about supporting Hougang right now.
You love to see, man. Like as I said, I'm a bit newer to the scene. I used to watch a bit of S League, then I stopped. Then now I came up refocusing my focus in like SPL and whatnot. And I see the Hools, right? You guys are, I don't know, man. You guys are a special breed, man. It's the, like what you say, Sal, it's the community that you're building, right? It's similar to what the goal difference is also. It's like, the game at the end of the day, yes, the football is the game we love, but at the end of the day, if the result is not there, it's all right. It's about the brotherhood. It's about the effort that you show on the pitch, right? If you guys kind of hammered 4-0, but you see the players putting all the effort, you guys will be proud of their performance, right? Win, draw, or lose, right? It's all about the performance on the pitch and the friends and the brothers that you make off the field as well. You love to see, and yeah, I saw the tears and emotions, man. It was crazy. Like it was as a neutral, it felt really good for you, man. Like that's why the underdog story for the SG Cup for Hougang was really, really telling, right? You can see a lot of, even the sailors, the crew was all rooting for Hougang to win, right? Because it just felt a nice story for you guys to end off such a long drought, to end off a well-deserved club and a well-deserved fan club to get a deserved trophy at the end of the year. So big up to you. Zach, your thoughts, if anything you want to say to the community, anything you want to, address?
I have nothing really much more to add on. It's basically continue supporting because like they are Singaporean, and for the matter, we cannot compare this we cannot compare this to like EPL football. Like this is Singapore, this is Asian football. Asian football, we say that Asian football is a step behind European football so far, but we have to start somewhere, right? So we are supporting our local teams, loving our local teams, So that's where we are, and that's where, and hopefully we'll enjoy even more when the success comes. That's why we need to appreciate the process.
Yeah, you guys are absolutely right. Like what Sel and Zach has alluded to, the fact that we can dream big, but in order to dream big, we need to make sure that we get the numbers in the stadium. We support our teams, right, to show the league that there's a substantial amount of support and growth in the league, so that there's more funding, there's more players to build on, and then players can feel like this is a career to, sometimes also players, there are talented players that I know that don't pursue this career. Why? Because they see the league, they like, it's so unstable as a job, right? And you can't blame them as well. They will pursue on to focus their lives and their careers. But as of now, I feel like if you are a young player growing up, for the youngsters now watching this stream, or like you see the Singapore Premier League, I think it's quite optimistic to see like there is a good career for you if you put in the hard work, and then you hone your skills, and eventually play for a Singapore Premier League side, right? So with that being said, I think we are going to end the stream, but before that, so Luckman Man said, thank you guys for your continued support in Singapore football. I think that is for you, Sel, and for you, Zach. For me, mine is new support, right? I would consider mine cousin new support, but for you guys, I've been a continuous support for a long time. Especially Sel and the Hools. The Hools have been fantastic, and you guys, the atmosphere you all bring is quite very contagious. When I did the vlog, I was like, well, I want to sing also, sir. But I cannot sing. I need to keep quiet to keep myself neutral.
It's our personal written songs. Even one of our chairs become the Hougang anthem, man. When they won the cup, they played that song. That's why we all cried. You see?
Yes, for sure, mate. For sure, it's like it's so contagious. It's so, I talked to Murph as well. That I know, on my Spotify playlist now, I got Hougang Sampai Mati. So sometimes I listen to it. It's like damn shook, sir. It has good vibes. Just to tell you some things, right? I'm also trying to do my own songs for. I won't say for Geylang, but I maybe want to do my own football song. I got a band as well, so I'm trying to get my band to play some songs as well, to compose our own stuff. Because I think it'll be quite cool, to you see how that goes. So like
need a
see like
songwriter like me also. I can contribute for
yeah,
you.
I know. I saw your Insta story recently. You were playing guitar, right? Yeah, we can definitely maybe go for a jam. We jam soon or what? One of these days, mate. You know, it'll be good. It'll be
Yeah.
good. Yeah, Mr. KK said, "I hope more clubs have groups like the Hools. It will make the league atmosphere a lot better." Yeah, I would say right as okay. I'm gonna digress a lot here, but I mean, if you guys are not in a hurry, we can just talk a little while.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like the Hools this year, from my very limited exposure in the SPL in the past year, the crew and the Hools are like the two best lah. I think the Ultra Eagles are like a bit, I don't know, they are a bit more reserved. Is it because like I feel like there's a lot of members that are not turning up for games for the Ultra Eagles? Because I do hear that the Ultra Eagles are also quite intense in their support. But so far I've been to the Eagles games compared to the Hougang Hools. I think the Ultra Eagles are a bit quiet. I mean, this is going to be a very biased question to you all, but what are your thoughts about the Ultra Eagles?
Ultra Eagles used to have a lot of good core. I'm not so sure what's the story behind it, but there is a good support for it. And as Geylang being the traditional powerhouses in Singapore football, I think they got a lot of old fans, in the stand. It's just that they are not actively contributing to to create the match atmosphere. For Hougang Hools, it's very simple. Our main goal is to unite everybody who is supporting Hougang, not only those people who actively support and sing with us, but also we have a lot of fans like you've met the Arsenal fans of the Hougang Hools, right?
Yes. David.
We consider them Hools also because they have been joining us for the last 4 seasons also. So for us, right, Hougang is different because it's a community of supporters. A lot of people who have been there watching has been watching with us for the last decade or so. We got one elderly uncle, right, who is like in 78, he's still coming to games. We got one Riyadh who is in the chat group. I met him when he was 9 years old. He's already 21 this year. So we saw him grow up, and that's the reason why we keep stabbing on him always. But it's just a community, and the community is growing. It's not only the active support, but the people who are sitting around with us. Whenever we need their cheer, they join with us, especially in Hougang Stadium. So that's what makes Hougang special, because it's more like a family and community rather than just a football club, which is hard to come by nowadays.
Yeah, very, very hard, very hard. I think like to talk about Mr. KK's point, right, about like having more clubs to have this atmosphere. It's not easy to build because this I talked to Murph, I talked to you, Sal, I talked to some of the Hools, right? Like this is years in the making of hard work and passion, like no discredit to you all, right? Like, and this is a testament to you all, right? To build such a growing and inclusive community, right? It takes years to build it. So it's not going to take like a 1 year thing, like, oh, just gather your friends, cheer. It's not going to grow like that, right? It takes time to learn the community, like what you're saying, Sal, to understand who are your people, like David may not be singing the songs with you guys, but you know that he's there 4 or 5 years with you all. So he's part of the community as well, right? You guys consider him as a whole, even though he's not part of the group per se, but he's active support. Yeah, but it takes time, which is quite worrying for like the other clubs. I would say Tanjong Pagar, Balestier, I don't know. Maybe it take more time for them.
You have to start somewhere. I mean, Tanjong Pagar used to have the Jaguar Force, but it's how you outreach people, how you talk to people. Like for me, when I started out with Murph and Sean and Ian, all these, right, we started talking to fans, and that's when people join us, and people join and sing along with us, and that's how we get people randomly coming into every season. We see new faces. We're not forcing people. They come to us, then they sing with us, and that's where like how we grow. Right now, right, Hougang has a very good, the Hools have a very good core of young supporters right now who are joining us, and I'm very heartened to see all these people coming in. If anybody who live around Hougang and or like us, I'm not staying in Hougang, I'm staying in Jurong West, man, but I'm still supporting Hougang.
Yeah. But it's the love, man. It's the love for the club. Yeah, it's the love for the club.
It's the love for the club, man. Yeah.
Zach, are you gonna be donned in black next time, Zach? I hope you are when I see you at the Hougang Stadium. Huh?
I mean,
Zach?
start slowly.
We'll
man.
see. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, just to let you guys know, I'm planning to definitely go for more Hougang games in the future if time permits, right? So I'll definitely see you guys more often at Hougang Stadium. You know, it's going to be a buzzing atmosphere. I talked to Murph before. I'm trying to grow the scene as well. Not only Hougang, not only Geylang. No, I just see how we can improve like our fan structure. You know, how to be a bit more inclusive in the community. Especially in Singapore, it's a bit difficult. So because we are a bit more conservative, right? So it's not easy to go around because some people will judge you. Some people will say like, "Oh yeah, we rather be reserved and quiet." So it takes like as I said to Sel just now, right? And to you, Zach, like it takes this kind of effort that the hosts have been putting. It takes years of time and effort to build a community to make it sure that it's a very inclusive and holistic community. It takes time. It takes time. Okay. So Josh said it's okay, sir. So they have no sub, I support Liverpool. Okay, that's a very out of context thing. But we get the point. Okay, so with that being said, I've rambled on for too long. As usual, my specialty is to ramble on. But I think for the benefit of you guys community, you know, at the end of the day, this community is to grow and to make sure that you guys have an outlet for you to speak, right? So next time in the future, maybe we can do more post-game reactions, pre-game reactions, preview for the Singapore Premier League. You guys are more than welcome to join anytime, Sel, anytime, Zach. You know, I'll try and get more, like, I'm sure like the Sailors, I'm sure there'll be some Sailors fans, so then we can have like a fun debate here and there. I think it'll be quite fun, right? Because right now it's more I to be honest with you guys, I feel like the Hougang, I got to really thank the Hougang hosts and the community. I feel like you guys have really shown a lot of support to the goal difference. So, you know, this part of the thing, I just want to say a huge thank you to you guys. You know, the Sailor fans are also starting to warm up to the goal difference community. You know, slowly we are trying to build up that community and make sure, you know, at the end of the day, we support our club, but then, you know, we all have a common goal to grow the local scene, right? You know, we may have friendly banter here and there. You know, sometimes we say like Sailors cannot make it lah, Hougang cannot make it, Geylang sucks lah, all this kind of friendly banter, but at the end of the day, you know, we want the people to have these kind of conversations with us, right? It's all for the better for the league. Okay. Before I digress anymore, last things, Zach, anything to say to the stream? Anything before I'll finally we end it off?
Not really.
Okay. So I'll see you. All right. So, Sel, anything more before I will conclude the
That's
finals?
all, man. If I keep talking, I think we'll last 37 a.m. So
Okay, we will save this for a future episode, right? We will definitely save this for a future episode. Yeah. Okay. So with that, we thank you all for your time. We thank you all for staying us for 3 hours. I know some of you have been here for 2.5 hours, 3 hours. You know, it's not easy, but we really do appreciate it, right? We from Sel, from Marcus, from Zach, and myself. In the goal difference community, we will definitely try and invite you guys more often. You know, to come and speak to us. And yeah, I'm gonna play the outro. Cheers, lads. Help me like, comment, subscribe to the goal difference. You guys have been legends. See you guys and take care. And see you on Friday. We'll be doing a vlog on Friday. Zach may potentially be at the game. Sel will definitely be at the game with the Singa Brigade. And we hope to see you guys there and, you know, cheer our Lions on. All right. So with that, I'm going to conclude the stream. Cheers, lads. Take care. Have a good one and take care. See you guys.